Chapter 713. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that Long Xuanqing's attitude towards the world had changed. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs.com. Kid, is there something you don't understand? Long Xuanqing asked when he saw Night Sorrow pondering with his head lowered. I understand the world of chaos, but what do you mean by the world of great strife? Night Sorrow asked. In the past, I pursued an action, protecting the eastern Xian region's pure land, earning some merit and obtaining luck. However, when the world is in chaos, it means that the opportunity has come. Who can rise and who can obtain the opportunity will depend on the individual's ability. This is the world of great competition. Long Xuanqing explained to Yishang. Then this junior understands. Yishang nodded. Fight hard. If there's an opportunity, take it. Our eastern Xian region has several generations of people here. If the eastern Xian region wants to rise, let's fight together. Kill whoever blocks the way, said Long Xuanqing. All right. Kill whoever blocks the way. Night Sorrow nodded. After staying for a while, Night Sorrow left the eastern Xian region's camp and returned to his camp. Yun Huang and Ling Long weren't there. Night Sorrow knew that the two of them had gone to the edge of the realm's sea to cultivate. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to continue cultivating in the realm's sea and return to Sky City later. In any case, the Night Moon dynasty was in a stable state. No one would be bold enough to attack the Night Moon dynasty or Sky City. Night Sorrow got up and walked towards the realm sea. He didn't know that his decision had temporarily prevented a massacre. When he arrived at the edge of the realm sea, Night Sorrow saw Yun Huang and Ling Long cultivating in the realm sea, fighting against the spatial turbulence. The spatial turbulence was terrifying, but the two of them were at the periphery, so the pressure was not that great. If they were to cultivate like Night Sorrow, they might be instantly killed. After bidding farewell to Yun Huang and Ling Long, Night Sorrow cast a spatial energy shield and headed into the realm sea. Captain's speed and ability are too abnormal, Yun Huang exclaimed as he watched Night Sorrow enter the spatial turbulence. That's because he has a space-type protective energy shield. Plus, his combat power is very strong. We can't compare to him. Ling Long's mind was very calm. Ling Long was a celestial terminus emissary of Tianji Tower. Her attribute was fire, and it was the ultimate attribute of the fire attribute. Like Yun Huang, she was also the ultimate attribute of the common attribute. This was why they were able to become celestial terminus emissaries. Those who could become celestial extremity envoys all had outstanding talent. It was very difficult for those with ordinary attributes to stand out. Yun Huang, I'm going to eat some elixirs and cultivate later. Leave your mount behind to guard me, Ling Long shouted to Yun Huang while fighting in the spatial turbulence. Okay, but take it easy. You don't lack time. It's better to have a stable foundation. I'll wait for you, Yun Huang reminded Ling Long. He was genuinely worried. Look at the CW chapter of the OS version. Section 3 on T%L, thank you. No need to wait. I'll catch up, Ling Long replied. Night Sorrow went deeper into the realm sea. After 100 miles, he began to cut back and forth in the spatial turbulence. At the same time, he brandished the space splitter spear and fought against the spatial turbulence. Without pressure, Night Sorrow was unwilling to use the reincarnation spear. Improving the compatibility of the space splitter spear was something that had to be done. However, as Night Sorrow nourished himself day and night, the space splitter spear was now somewhat compatible with him. The power of the space splitter spear was also much stronger than before. When he was happy from fighting, Night Sorrow would roar a few times. Recently, he had been very carefree because some of his troubles had been resolved. Now, he could focus on cultivating in peace. In the eastern Xian region's Medicine Valley, Guan Yu was talking to Yu Yang Yu in the Pill Cauldron Great Hall. Master, I really want to go out and explore. Don't men live to fight? 13th junior brother, 9th senior sister, and 6th senior sister are all fighting very well. I can't let go of my hands and feet just because I died once, said Guan Yi. Little Yi, it's not suitable for you to go to 13th's team. Your 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister are 13th's fiancés, so it's not inconvenient for him to command the team. However, you can't. You're the senior brother. Yu Yangyu voiced his worries. Master, actually, some things aren't that complicated. You're the sect master. Those martial uncles and elders also listen to your orders. I'm not going to be a senior brother in 13th's team. I'm just going to be an ordinary member. Guan Ye's attitude was very firm. He just wanted to fight in the outside world. He had recently entered the 5th order, and with his high attributes, his combat strength was very strong. Master, why don't you let 12th junior brother go? You can just tell 13th junior brother. Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning are also doing very well in that team. The last time I came back, I saw that their cultivation had improved a lot. Moreover, they're very solid. They're real men now. Gong Xian said. All right then. I don't know where to find him. However, I'll go to Tianji Tower and ask. I should be able to find out. Then, let's go. Yu Yangyu thought for a moment and felt that this was the path Guan Yi had chosen. There was no need to stop him. The rest was up to Night Sorrow. After informing Gong Xian, Yu Yangyu led Guan Yi to the teleportation array in Danding Square. Now that Yu Yangyu had left the Medicine Valley, he was relieved. This was because the Medicine Valley didn't only have 2 venerables, but 3. The Great Elder had also successfully entered the Venerable Realm a few days ago. After arriving at Danding City, Yu Yangyu first went to the Tianji Tower branch to ask about Night Sorrow's situation. Enforcer Dong bowed to Yu Yangyu. Valley Master Lu, I don't know about this matter. The matter of the young master is confidential. However, you should go to the Tianji Tower branch in Dongxian City and ask. There should be some news. Young master. Enforcer Dong, are you saying that Night Sorrow is now the young master of Tianji Tower? Yu Yangyu asked in surprise. Yes. Valley Master Lu, don't you know? Some time ago, the headquarters sent an order that all the branches in the 9 zones and 18 states, even the branch masters, must listen to the young master's orders. However, it was only an order. I don't know the details, Enforcer Dong said. Well, I won't disturb you any longer. Yu Yangyu left the Tianji Tower branch with Guan Yi. This guy, I haven't seen him for a while, but he actually became the young master of Tianji Tower, the number 1 force in the 9 zones. He didn't even tell the sect about this, Yu Yangyu muttered in a low voice. 13th junior brother isn't a showy person. He doesn't care about this. If he did, he would stay in the Medicine Valley and be the deputy valley master, Guan Yi said with a smile. That's true. Your 13th junior brother has a good state of mind. It's hard for external things to affect him, Yu Yangyu said with a smile. Master, some time ago, eldest senior brother asked me to go to Bamboo Garden City to check on 13th junior brother's situation. That guy is really unreliable. He often talks about 13th junior brother. The Bamboo Garden City's city lord also doesn't know what's going on. He respects 13th junior brother, so he put that guy in an important position. Now, that guy is the deputy manager of the city lord mansion, Guan Yi said. Chapter 714. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's true. 13th junior brother is hard to deal with, but 9th senior sister can. However, with 9th senior sister's temper, that guy is in for a bad time, Guan Yi said with a smile. Yes, your 9th senior sister is good at managing the household. She and your 6th senior sister are polar opposites. With them by your 13th junior brother's side, he will have less to worry about. Now, let's go to Dongxian City's Tianji Tower and ask around. Yu Yangyu said. Yu Yangyu and Guanyi arrived at Dongxian City's Tianji Tower branch. Yin Shui personally received them and told Yu Yangyu about the current situation. That means Night Sorrow might not be in Sky City right now? Yu Yangyu asked with a frown. %/only CX positive version V, I and others, is stolen F version 3G, even if the young master isn't here, Guardian Yang Lei and Guardian Sikong should be. It's the same if you go there, Yin Shui said with a smile. Then let's go there and take a look. Even if he couldn't see Night Sorrow, Yu Yangyu wanted to see if Aoi and Yang Lei were doing well. Yin Shui decided to personally send Yu Yangyu and Guanyi over. After they arrived at Qingtian City Celestial Peak Pavilion and asked around, Lan Yuxuan personally sent Yu Yangyu and Guanyi to Sky City. Aoi and Yang Lei were very happy to see each other. Yang Lei personally prepared the food and wine, but Lan Yuxuan had left. Now that the higher-ups of Tianji Tower weren't around, she had a lot of things to do. While eating, Yu Yangyu told them why he brought Guanyi along. Guanyi also stood up and said that he was here to train himself. In the team, he was Guanyi, not Night Sorrow's senior brother. However, the only person who can make decisions in the God-slaying squad is 13. We don't have the authority to do anything. Let's wait for 13 to return first, Yang Lei said. I understand. Guanyi nodded. He understood the situation of the God-slaying team. After eating and drinking tea, Guanyi talked about Qin Chen's matter. After hearing Guanyi's words, Yang Lei's face turned cold. That bastard, he really went this far. I'll go back and deal with it later. The human heart is hard to fathom. However, we still have to inform Father Gu about this matter, said Sikong Chuyu. Then we'll go back tomorrow. Yang Lei wouldn't tolerate anyone using Night Sorrow's name to mess around. After sending Yu Yangyu back, Yang Lei followed him to Danding City. Yu Yangyu and Yang Lei met Papa Gu and told him about it. Love go little Sei Ku, he's really disappointing. He's going down a path we don't want to see. Yang Lei, you go and deal with it. No matter how you deal with it, it won't be too much. He only interacted with Night Sorrow because of me. Night Sorrow's name isn't something he can use, Papa Gu sighed and said. I won't do anything to him, but he can no longer hold any management position in the cities in the Medicine Valley area, Yang Lei said. Alright, we're already being extremely benevolent by not pursuing the matter. Papa Gu nodded. After that, Papa Gu also expressed that he didn't want to see Qin Chen again and asked Yang Lei to deal with it as she saw fit. After that, Yu Yangyu and Yang Lei went to Zhuyuan City together. When they saw Yu Yangyu and Yang Lei, the governor of Zhuyuan City and a disciple of the North Pole Peak, Zhang Ling, led his people to bow to them. Yang Lei stood up and looked at Qin Chen, who was wearing a brocade robe, and said, Qin Chen, if you relied on your own ability to become a deacon or a manager, that's your own ability. But relying on the name Night Sorrow won't do. From today onward, you're not allowed to hold any management position in any city in the Medicine Valley area. Why, am I not doing well enough now? Is this Night Sorrow's idea? Qin Chen's expression changed. Night Sorrow doesn't have time to care about these things and he doesn't know about this. I don't know if you're doing well, but you didn't get to this position by relying on your own ability, but by relying on the reputation of others, Yang Lei said. I'm not convinced. Qin Chen said coldly. I don't care if you're convinced or not. Zhang Ling, in the Zhuyuan City area, no one is allowed to use Night Sorrow's name to do things. Take care of whoever you see. Yang Lei looked at Zhang Ling, this is my dereliction of duty. Zhang Ling bowed and said. Master, then this disciple will take her leave. Without even looking at Qin Chen, Yang Lei bowed to Yu Yangyu. Go. I'll inform all the cities under the jurisdiction of the Medicine Valley of this matter. Yu Yangyu nodded. After hearing Yu Yangyu's words, Qin Chen's expression turned even uglier because this meant that he would be completely banned. It's your own mentality that's flawed. Back then, Night Sorrow prepared resources for you and even prepared a rank 4 mount for you, but you chose this path yourself. From now on, we're strangers. After glancing at Chen Chen, Yang Lei left Zhuyuan City. On Yu Yangyu's side, accompanied by Zhang Ling, walked around Zhuyuan City. As for Chen Chen, no one paid any attention to him. Yang Lei wanted to talk to Papa Gu about the situation and then return to Sky City. Temperament determines success. No one can do anything about him like this, but don't tell 13 about this. It's meaningless, Aoi said. Then, Aoi and the other two girls took Guanyi to the training field of the God-slaying squad. They introduced Guanyi to Ho Jian and Xue Ling and explained the situation. Sixth senior sister, you know that only the captain can make the decision to recruit people, but there's no problem with everyone cultivating together, Ho Jian said. Then, Guanyi stayed behind to cultivate with everyone. Night Sorrow cultivated in the Realm Sea every day, but after going 100 miles deep, Night Sorrow stopped because this place was just right for him to train. Usually, Night Sorrow used the Void Splitter Spear and only used the Reincarnation Spear when the pressure was particularly high. In addition, Night Sorrow also found that the energy surrounding Haotian City did not dissipate. Night Sorrow also noticed that the energy was not naturally wrapped, but seemed to be operated by a formation. The fact that the energy did not dissipate was a good thing for Night Sorrow because he could continue to cultivate without losing the training of the space turbulence due to environmental damage. As for consumption, Night Sorrow did not mind. Recently, he had been sorting out the resources in the storage ring. Some mid-grade spirit stones and low-quality top-grade spirit stones were given to Shao Kong. Shao Kong also liked this situation. This was also a training process for her. On this day, while Night Sorrow was shuttling back and forth in the space turbulence of the Realm Sea, he found something unexpected. He found that there was a figure in the space storm about a dozen miles ahead. This made Yi Sheng very shocked, because he hadn't seen anyone enter, but now there were people inside. Night Sorrow shuttled back and forth in the space turbulence while observing the situation of the figure. As he observed, Night Sorrow found that the figure was spinning in the space storm and was not moving on its own. Night Sorrow, that's a corpse. There's no soul fluctuation. Shao Kong communicated with Night Sorrow. A corpse? It's not annihilated or torn apart in the space turbulence. What's going on? Night Sorrow was very shocked because he could not understand what was going on. Get close to it and get it out. Shao Kong said. The 5th update has arrived. Who cares about a sister? Also, after I posted an announcement to stop updating, some brothers and sisters gave me some tips. Today, it's even more of a return. Chapter 7:15. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. No, that area is very dangerous. It's very difficult for us to get close. Love go little say, Chu. Night Sorrow observed for a while and said. Night Sorrow could travel through the spatial storm, but it also depended on the intensity of the spatial storm. If it was too strong, he could not get close. The spatial protective chi shield could be cut, but it couldn't do so in places with high density. Where the corpse was, the spatial storm was filled with black and red energy, which was destructive energy. The void protective chi shield could withstand it, but it would consume a lot of energy. Something that can survive in that spatial storm is definitely not simple. If we have the chance, we have to get it and study it, said Shao Kong. Night Sorrow also understood this, so he kept his eyes on the corpse as he traveled through the spatial turbulence. If he had the chance, he would get closer. The corpse also drifted toward the periphery of the spatial storm. Night Sorrow was also trying his best to get closer. As he got closer, Night Sorrow saw that the corpse was not a normal human. It was 3.5 feet tall and had 2 hideous curved horns. Yi Sheng could see that it was an incomplete demon beast. He knew that it wasn't a human corpse. Night Sorrow kept getting closer. When he could not take it anymore, he entered the space-time pagoda to recover and let Shao Kong pay attention. At this time, Night Sorrow did not care about the consumption and directly gave Shao Kong 100 high-grade spirit stones. Love go little say, Chu. After recovering, Night Sorrow continued to approach the corpse. With Night Sorrow's efforts and the spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow and the corpse were getting closer and closer. What's going on? Night Sorrow found that there was a lot of hair on the surface of the corpse. When the energy cut the hair, it was shaken away. Shao Kong could not answer Night Sorrow's question because she did not know either. This area was very dangerous. Night Sorrow was very cautious. He did not want to be swept into a place with violent spatial turbulence, even if he had Shao Kong. The spatial turbulence around Night Sorrow had reached a terrifying level, and the entire realm sea was filled with roiling energy. Night Sorrow continued to use his body technique to slash, and the reincarnation spear also continued to attack, blasting away the spatial turbulence that was attacking him. The corpse floated outside, getting closer and closer to Night Sorrow. When there was still about 1 li left, Night Sorrow discovered that something was wrong. The spatial turbulence had changed direction, and the corpse was about to be sucked back. This situation made Night Sorrow anxious. If the corpse was sucked back, then all his efforts would have been for nothing, and all his efforts would have been for naught. With a low roar, Night Sorrow unleashed a spatial rend. His body followed behind the spatial rend as he rushed towards the corpse. After unleashing 2 spatial rends, Night Sorrow was still a few dozen feet away from the corpse. Night Sorrow exhaled and poured the energy of the myriad Dao Tome into his left hand. Using the energy of the myriad Dao Tome, he wrapped the sky-piercing spear with the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon and flew out. He wrapped the sky-piercing spear around the corpse's leg and pulled it back fiercely. Night Sorrow was afraid that the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon would be destroyed by the spatial turbulence, so he wrapped it with energy. As Night Sorrow's arm shook, the corpse was pulled to his side by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow wanted to put the corpse into his storage ring, but after testing, he found that he could not do so. Night Sorrow's expression changed. He grabbed the corpse's horn with his left hand and cut through the spatial turbulence, rushing out. This place was extremely dangerous. One careless mistake and he would be torn apart by the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow tried several times while carrying the tall corpse, but he could not put it into his storage ring. Let me try. At this time, Shao Kong, who was in Night Sorrow's sleeve, roared. Following that, the space-time pagoda's body suddenly enlarged. The bottom layer opened and a spatial vortex appeared, pulling the corpse into it. Night Sorrow cut back and forth, avoiding the spatial turbulence. He saw that Shao Kong was struggling to pull the corpse, but after a few breaths of time, Shao Kong still managed to pull the corpse into the space-time pagoda. At this time, Night Sorrow grabbed the Seacone pagoda and continued to rush out. After rushing out for a distance, he entered the space-time pagoda to rest. You can do it. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to carry it out. When I want to recover, I don't even know what to do with it. Night Sorrow took out a wine jar and drank a mouthful. $N forever equals free to read novels for a long time. Just now, I used 20 high-grade spirit stones. My body became bigger and was washed by the spatial turbulence. I can't take it anymore. Shao Kong said. After resting for a while, Night Sorrow continued to rush out. This was still a dangerous area. Night Sorrow didn't want to stay here any longer. After 4 hours, Night Sorrow rushed out of the spatial turbulence and arrived at a safe area. Looking back at the black and red spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. He finally rushed out. His body was covered in sweat. The main reason was that he was too nervous. If he wasn't careful, he could have died in there. Flying back to the border of the realm sea, Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and Ling Long who were still cultivating. Night Sorrow then returned to his tent. Just as he sat down and drank a mouthful of water, Wu Lingfei came over. Why are you sweating? Seeing the sweat on Night Sorrow's face, Wu Lingfei was shocked. Night Sorrow was a venerable. It was very strange for him to sweat. Aunt Fei, I encountered something today. Night Sorrow waved his arm and brought the corpse into the tent. What is this? Wu Lingfei's face was full of shock. Then, Yi Shang explained the situation he had encountered, from beginning to end, in detail. You're really bold. You dare to touch anything. After speaking, Wu Lingfei squatted down and began to study the tall corpse. As she observed, Wu Lingfei's face changed. It's an ancient mutated beast, golden growler. It's above the saint level. Its fur is not corroded by any energy. Its spirit sea is empty, but there's still a very strong energy in its body. Its heart is still beating, but it's not obvious. Wu Lingfei said. It was swept here by a spatial storm from Clear Sky City. In other words, it's related to the disappearance of Clear Sky City. It's from the same era? Knight Sorrow's face was full of shock. It's possible. It doesn't have the aura of Nine Realms world. It shouldn't be a life form of Nine Realms world. It's dangerous. We can't give it a chance to recover. After speaking, Wu Lingfei waved her arm and a white palm print entered the tall corpse. Knight Sorrow also knew that this was an unstable factor, but he didn't expect this guy to be so strong. Sit down. Let's talk slowly. Golden Growler is a time attribute beast. It has never appeared in our Nine Realms world, so the origin of this corpse is worth thinking about. He also has a storage ring. Wu Lingfei reached out and took the storage ring from Golden Growler's left hand, then threw it to Knight Sorrow. Then Knight Sorrow opened the storage ring and took out all the resources inside. However, there were many things that Knight Sorrow didn't recognize. Saint Crystal. This guy actually has Saint Crystal. It seems that things are really complicated. Wu Lingfei picked up a crystal and said. Saint Crystal Core? It doesn't look like it. Knight Sorrow said. Chapter 7:16. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. There is such a spirit stone. Why haven't I heard of it? Knight Sorrow asked. Love go little say webku, because our Nine Zones world doesn't have high-grade mines, Wu Lingfei said to Yishan. Unless the space and the world are very mature and old, they can't have such mines. This golden growler must have something to do with the ancient investiture of the gods. Take the Holy Spirit Stone. Yishang nodded and put away the 7 to 8 Saint Spirit Stones. Following this, Wu Lingfei continued to organize the resources that Yishan had taken out from his spatial ring. There were 100 top-grade spirit stones and a few elemental crystals. However, there weren't many, there were only a few lightning and wind elemental crystals. Why are you putting them there? Keep them, huh? There are also desolate stones like these. They will be very useful for you, Wu Lingfei said as she picked up a yellow speckled crystal. Aren't desolate stones only found in the desolate sea? How could he have them? Knight Sorrow could not understand. The desolate sea is not only in the 9-domain world, but also in other worlds and spaces. This golden growler is a time attribute beast, so it is reasonable for it to have desolate stones. These 4 desolate stones are of high quality. Take them and use them. They can probably increase your power of desolates by a lot. How is your power of desolates now? Wu Lingfei asked Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow told her about the fusion of his power of desolates and body refining energy. You took a little risk, but since you succeeded, there is nothing to say. This guy has a lot of refining materials. It seems that your luck is very good. Also, it is hard to estimate the situation in Haotian City. It should be a battlefield, Wu Lingfei said as she looked at the golden growler's body. I can't keep this guy in the storage ring. Knight Sorrow nodded. He also realized that things were not simple. There are some things that I don't mind telling you. Saints aren't the focus of cultivators. When you cultivate to the extreme, you can achieve immortality. This guy's body is immortal, but his life force has been frozen by Andi Fei, Wu Lingfei said. What should we do with the corpse? Knight Sorrow asked. He was worried about this problem. It has to be destroyed. His divine sea is empty, which means that his soul is not here. If his soul is not destroyed, like the dark spirit saint, then his soul can find a body and be reborn. So, we can't keep this corpse. Wu Lingfei said. That's not right. If his soul isn't destroyed, I can't open his storage ring. Love go little say kunite sorrow said. That's not an absolute assumption. If his soul was severely injured, the soul imprint on the storage ring would naturally dissipate. If his soul recovered and he couldn't find his body, the storage ring wouldn't be imprinted again. You can still open it, said Wu Lingfei. I see. Auntie Fei, you can deal with the corpse as you see fit. I have no objections. Night Sorrow nodded. Let's do it this way. Auntie Fei will take this corpse and show it to Senior Long Xianxing. If it's destroyed, Auntie Fei will give you the materials on his body. Wu Lingfei said. Okay, Auntie Fei, deal with it as you see fit. Night Sorrow nodded. Soon after, Wu Lingfei left with the corpse. Yi Shan was making tea. He also needed to relax a bit. This time, he had been really nervous. They had entered the depths of spatial turbulence. If they weren't careful, they could have died. Night Sorrow had the space-time pagoda to protect him, but it could only be used in the cracks of the space turbulence. Once he was sucked in, he would be surrounded by the destructive energy. He couldn't enter the space-time pagoda even if he wanted to. It was normal for him to be destroyed. The space turbulence was the manifestation of the heavenly Tao. It was very difficult to resist. While Night Sorrow was drinking tea, Yun Huang and Ling Long returned. Captain, your cultivation base is very condensed. Are you going to break through? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. He could see the depth of Night Sorrow's cultivation base. It's condensed enough, but it's not controllable enough. I still need to cultivate. You have to pay attention to this. Condensing one's true qi is one of the aspects of a solid foundation. You can't ignore the degree of control. You have to know that it involves the speed of true qi circulation, explosive power, and so on. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and said. I know. But no matter how solid it is, it's much faster than natural cultivation. Yun Huang smiled. Okay, I don't care. I'm going to continue cultivating in the realm C. Ling Long said. Safety. Safety first. Night Sorrow looked at Ling Long and said. He had the space-time pagoda to protect him, but Yun Huang and Ling Long didn't. Captain, don't worry. We won't do anything rash. Yun Huang nodded. After the three of them drank some tea, Yun Huang and Ling Long left. They had their own tents. Night Sorrow also sat down to cultivate. But it was just a normal cultivation. He had originally planned to absorb the power of desolates to cultivate. But now that his myriad Dao treasured tome was at level 9 Dao querying realm, if he cultivated too quickly, it would have the disadvantage of an unstable foundation. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Long Xianxing and Wu Lingfei were studying the corpse. It's an ancient beast, the golden growler. And its cultivation base is very high. Because of the special characteristics of its body, it wasn't destroyed by the turbulence of space. If this fella's soul isn't destroyed, it's possible for its soul to return to its body. So, we can't give it a chance to live. Let me destroy it. Long Xianxing nodded to Wu Lingfei. After that, Long Xianxing opened and closed his hands, and a yellow space with a diameter of 10 feet appeared. Then, the corpse of the golden growler was sucked into the space. After that, the space began to distort, and the corpse of the golden growler was torn apart. After that, the space continued to distort, and the corpse of the golden growler was completely crushed. Then, flames appeared in the space and burned the corpse. Wu Lingfei was shocked. Because Long Xuanqing's first move was a fusion of several attributes. The chaotic space was a fusion of the earth, space, and wind attributes, and also the fire attribute. There are still 2 horns that haven't been destroyed. But it doesn't matter. Long Xianxing waved his hand, took out the 2 horns, and handed them to Wu Lingfei. At the same time, he kept his chaotic space. What they didn't know was that at this time, in a special space, a man in a golden robe was shouting, "Who? Who destroyed this king's body? If this king finds out, he will definitely turn you into ashes." After shouting for a while, the man in the golden robe calmed down. "Jinyu, what's going on?" A black-clothed man appeared in front of the golden-robed man. "Bo Qing, this king's body has been destroyed. There is no connection with him now." The golden-robed man, Jinyu, said. "WC is the only genuine copy of Asterisk, it's R and he was O. Robbery. Edition 1 Could it be that there's another expert in the 9-domain world? Otherwise, Brother Jinyu's body wouldn't have been destroyed so easily," said the man called Bo Qing by Jinyu. "That's hard to say. This king will definitely not let this matter rest. Since he can't return to his physical body, he'll have to think of some other way to reconstruct his physical body." Jinyu replied coldly. "Yes, this must be done. After we recover, we have to go back. We've really had enough of this damned place," Bo Qing said irritably. "But we didn't complete the mission. If we go back, we'll be in big trouble." A hint of fear appeared on Jinyu's face. Chapter 717. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Xiao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Jinyu did not speak anymore and continued to meditate. Bo Qing also got up and left the area. Baidu search Love Go divided by Xiao Shua www.aichux. Come in the 9 domains world. After long Xianxing threw the horn to Wu Lingfei, he sighed and shook his head. "You guessed it right. The soul of the owner of this body is not destroyed." Just now, this seat felt that the destroyed body had a connection with the outside world. At the same time, I also felt that there was karma attached to me. This seat is hated by someone. Is that so? Wu Lingfei asked in surprise. Yes, this world is really chaotic. We only saw the body of a golden growler. What about the rest? This is just a little bit of the surface of the water. There will be great horror in the future. Long Xianxing said. Baidu search Love Go divided by Xiao Shua www.aichux. What should we do? Wu Lingfei also had a headache because the situation was very difficult to control. Domain Lord, you have to speed up the refining of Dongxuan's origin. Then, even if the world is in chaos, Dongxian region may still be a pure land. Long Xianxing said to Wu Lingfei. Yes, I will work hard. Wu Lingfei nodded. At this moment, Xia Lanjun and Nan Xianxing came over with a young man. Seeing this young man, Long Xianxing narrowed his eyes and Wu Lingfei also had a strange feeling. He is? Wu Lingfei asked. He's a cultivator from the South Parting region. I'm sure you've already sensed it. You're right, he has the South Parting source in his body. I hope you two can keep this a secret. Nan Ganxing nodded to Long Xianxing and Wu Lingfei. 300 years ago, didn't Nanli region's origin recognize him as its master? How old is he? Wu Lingfei asked in surprise. This junior is Liang Yu. 300 years ago, it was my ancestor. Although my ancestor obtained Nanli's origin, he could not refine it. Then, he passed it to this junior. The burly young man said. So that's the case. Then, can you refine it? Long Xianxing asked. He's a little strange. When he was born, the South Parting Sect's source energy had already separated from his ancestor and entered his body. After nurturing it for over 20 years, he has already refined it. Even though he's only at the peak void inquiry stage, he has the strength of an early venerable realm expert. I brought him here because I feel that the South Parting Sect isn't safe either. Thus, I plan to send him to the God-slaying squad. Nan Xianxing said. Nan Gansheng, I can't make the decision on this matter. Besides, the God-slaying team is a team from the eastern Xian region. How can we let the future ruler of the southernly region in? Wu Lingfei asked. VZ Yong, D long exempt N phi square root CB small o say, our two regions are considered to be in an alliance. I will be at ease if we throw him into the god-slaying team, Nan Ganxing said. Senior Long Xianxing, what do you think? Wu Lingfei looked at Long Xianxing and asked. I don't have any opinion on this matter. However, it still depends on Knight Sorrow's opinion. Long Xianxing said. Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that the main problem was still Knight Sorrow. If Knight Sorrow was unwilling, no one could do anything about it. Then let's go to Knight Sorrow's place and have a look. It's not easy to talk to Knight Sorrow when it comes to principles. Xia Lanjun said. Xia Lanjun, Nan Gansheng, and Wu Lingfei brought Liang Yu to Knight Sorrow's tent. When they arrived, Knight Sorrow also came out of his tent. After greeting them, he took out a tea table and began to make tea. Knight Sorrow, let me introduce you. This is Liang Yu from the South Parting sect. In the future, you two will be brothers who will fight side by side. Xia Lanjun said. I am Liang Yu. Liang Yu extended his fist towards Knight Sorrow. I am Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow also extended his fist and bumped it with Liang Yu's. Alright, Knight Sorrow, the South Parting sect and our Eastern Xian sect are allies. Therefore, Liang Yu wants to join your god-slaying sect. Wu Lingfei directly pointed out the root of the problem. I can't answer this question directly. First of all, we have 30 to 40 brothers. I have to be responsible for them. Therefore, I'm sorry. Knight Sorrow looked at Liang Yu. Liang Yu had a strong body and a gentle face. At this moment, he was also looking at Knight Sorrow with dissatisfaction. He was a proud person. Now that Knight Sorrow didn't accept him, he was a little angry. Knight Sorrow, there is no problem with Liang Yu's character. He is also strong enough to fight against venerables. Besides, now that we are working together, we have to be open to each other. Liang Yu, Knight Sorrow is responsible for the members of the god-slaying sect. You should know that the god-slaying sect has fought many times and killed many major forces without losing a single member. You know what this means, Xia Lanjun said. Knight Sorrow, make the arrangements. Liang Yu is very important to the South Parting sect. Wu Lingfei said. Then cultivate with me, Yun Huang, and Ling Long. Knight Sorrow nodded. Then, Xia Lanjun and the others left. Sit. Have some tea. Knight Sorrow nodded to Liang Yu. I have heard about your god-slaying sect. I am very envious. Liang Yu sat down and said. Don't take my rejection to heart. Those brothers have fought with their lives on the line. They are friends who can block knives for each other. If I agreed directly, it would be irresponsible to them. Knight Sorrow explained. I understand. A leader like that can't lead a team like the god-slaying sect. Liang Yu nodded. Leader, we are back. Yin Huang shouted as he and Ling Long came to Knight Sorrow's tent. Tianyu, go catch some prey. Knight Sorrow shouted to Tianyu, who was lying on the side of the tent. Who is this? Yin Huang looked at Liang Yu and asked. He is Liang Yu. He will be cultivating with us from today. Knight Sorrow introduced him. Okay. When you become a venerable, let's spar. Yin Huang poured himself a cup of water and said. We can spar even if we are not venerables. Knight Sorrow can fight against venerables. Maybe I can too. Liang Yu said. Sure. Let's give it a try then. Yin Huang stood up and walked towards the outside of the tent. Liang Yu also followed him. Then, he drew out the fiery red sword on his back. It was a long sword that was as wide as a palm and 6 chi asterisk, 3, 33 m per chi long. Then let me test your strength. Yin Huang brandished his curved blade and slashed at Liang Yu. Liang Yu swung his sword and sent out a very thick sword light. The sword light and the blade light clashed and cancelled each other out. No. Even if you have the ultimate attribute of the fire attribute, you can't withstand my black baleful lightning. Even though Yunhuang displayed his peak void inquiry stage cultivation base, his lightning attribute was the ultimate attribute of the lightning attribute, the black baleful lightning. His attack was ferocious and it was not something that the fire attribute could withstand. Everyone has some ultimate moves. Let's spar to our heart's content. Liang Yu waved his heavy sword and said. Interesting. Then let's have a good spar. Yunhuang became serious. A purple-black lightning chi barrier appeared around his body. Liang Yu raised his right hand. As he raised his sword, a strong flame chi barrier appeared around his body. Chapter 718. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with interesting novels to read. N. His fire attribute is indeed strong. Ordinary fire attribute cultivators won't be able to reach this level. Night Sorrow nodded. He did have such a discerning eye. After that, Liang Yu and Yunhuang began to fight each other. Both of them were fiery types. It was a head-on battle. Yunhuang was very straightforward. He had been fighting Liang Yu with his peak void inquiry stage cultivation base. Because of Liang Yu's domineering attribute, Yunhuang could not gain the upper hand at all. However, Yunhuang's speed was fast. Even Liang Yu, who had a wide range of attacks, could not gain the upper hand. After fighting for about 10 minutes, Night Sorrow called them to stop. Yunhuang was unwilling to use his venerable realm cultivation base. The two of them were equally matched. Let me try. Ling Long was also itching to fight. She walked towards Liang Yu with her curved blade. With the support of the protective chi barrier, Ling Long's expression changed because she felt that she was being suppressed. What's wrong with you? Cultivators of the fire attribute have no possibility of fighting me if their cultivation base is not higher than 3 levels above mine. Liang Yu said. You possess the origin of fire attribute? Ling Long's expression changed. Liang Yu nodded. If I use my venerable realm cultivation base, even if I win the battle, it will be an unfair victory. If I don't use my venerable realm cultivation base, I won't be able to defeat you. What's the point of the battle then? Ling Long said with slight annoyance. Are you from the South Li region? Liang Yu looked at Ling Long and asked. Yes. So what? Ling Long was very unhappy because her attribute was being suppressed. Moreover, it was being suppressed by an attribute of the same origin. Nothing. Just pretend that I didn't ask. Seeing Ling Long getting angry, Liang Yu smiled and did not say anything else. Alright, let's roast some meat and drink some wine. Night Sorrow looked at the golden bull that Tianyu had caught and said. After drinking, Night Sorrow asked Liang Yu to set up a tent. At the same time, he told him about their current cultivation method. I haven't tried it before. I'll try it with you guys later. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Liang Yu's interest was piqued. Then you'll follow the two of them. Yunhuang, Ling Long, regardless of whether Liang Yu joins our god-slaying squad or not, he's now our comrade. Take good care of him, Yi Shan said to Yunhuang and Ling Long. After giving his instructions, Night Sorrow entered the tent and began to cultivate. While cultivating, Night Sorrow's mind was full of questions. He did not understand why he came across the golden growler's body, but his harvest was huge. 1 holy spirit stone was equivalent to 100 supreme grade spirit stones. What he got was a huge fortune. There were also many other materials. After daybreak, Night Sorrow began to cultivate his spear art. Now, he didn't need to enter the domain C to cultivate. His true chi was condensed enough, and the myriad Dao Tome's energy was also incomparably solid. He wanted to cultivate his true chi's control. Once he could control his true chi, he would be able to study the problem of advancement. It was only necessary to cultivate in the realm C after breaking through. In the following days, Night Sorrow cultivated his spear art and his true chi's control. Wu Lingfei came by a few times and was very satisfied with Night Sorrow's progress. Xia Lanjun and Nan Gongxing also came over, mainly because they were worried that Yun Huang and Exquisite wouldn't get along with Liang Yu. That said, they were very satisfied. As for Night's Sorrow, they weren't worried. Yun Huang and Exquisite were people who didn't care about trifles. Liang Yu was also very generous. Night's Sorrow had long since noticed this, and it could be seen from Liang Yu's fighting style. Liang Yu's fighting style was to press forward courageously, and his personality determined his fighting style. Because of their congenial personalities, they got along quite well. What's up with Night's Sorrow? He's been practicing his spear arts for an entire day? Liang Yu, who was chatting with Yun Huang and Exquisite, asked Night's Sorrow, who was practicing his spear arts in front of the tent. It's normal. He's been cultivating in seclusion for an entire month. Before you came, he was also cultivating in the Realm C for an entire month, Yun Huang said with a smile. That's crazy. I'll spar with him when I have time, Liang Yu said. Then you should just forget about it. During that time, the four of us fought him alone. He used a rattan to whip us until we were covered in bloody scars, Exquisite said. As for Night's Sorrow, he cultivated his spear arts during the day and cultivated his soul power and bloodline talent at night. Half a month later, Night's Sorrow felt that his true Chi's control had reached saturation. He was ready to break through to second-level Venerable. Letting Tianyu guard him, Night's Sorrow went to break through his true Chi's control. With his cultivation base enough, his advancement naturally went smoothly. After one night, Night's Sorrow's cultivation base reached second-level Venerable. After that, Night's Sorrow continued cultivating his spear art during the day and stabilizing his true Chi at night. At the same time, he cultivated his soul power and bloodline talent. 3 days later, Night's Sorrow felt that his cultivation base had stabilized. With 2 spears on his back, he walked towards the Realm C. He planned to enter the Realm C to stabilize his newly advanced cultivation base. After that, he could continue eating dragon spirit pills to increase his cultivation base. Let's go. This time, you'll be able to witness our captain's strength. Seeing Night's Sorrow walk towards the Realm C, Yun Huang waved to Exquisite and called out to Liang Yu. Ignoring the three, Night's Sorrow reached the edge of the Realm C. Raising a protective barrier, he cut straight into the Realm C. What kind of speed is this? Liang Yu was shocked to see Night's Sorrow leaving a trail of afterimages behind him. That's our captain. At the 5th level, he can easily kill a beginner Venerable. He can even injure a mid-level Venerable, Yun Huang said proudly. He really is powerful. That speed is too frightening. Liang Yu nodded. Night's Sorrow's speed had already reached an extreme. Night's Sorrow continued to charge into the Realm C. He only started cultivating after crossing 100 li of the area where Wu Lingfei had taken him to watch. By this time, Yun Huang and the others could no longer see Night's Sorrow's figure. He's cultivating in the center of the spatial storm. Can he endure it? Liang Yu was shocked. He was very confident in himself, but Night's Sorrow's display of strength made him feel both shocked and pressured. Of course he can. Don't be surprised. Just get used to it. Let's cultivate too. Exquisite shook her head. She was already used to Night's Sorrow's freakish strength. Night's Sorrow was currently in an area he was used to in the past, and the spacetime pagoda didn't consume too much energy. Night's Sorrow shuttled through the turbulent flow of space, cultivating his movement technique and spear technique. Whenever he consumed too much energy, he would return to the spacetime pagoda to recover. Night's Sorrow could sense the improvement of his innate bloodline power and soul power every day. In addition to the fact that his true Chi was becoming more and more stable after being tempered, he was very excited to cultivate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, it's been half a month and this guy still hasn't come out. Impressive. After cultivating for half a month, Liang Yu was completely convinced of Night's Sorrow's strength. You're quite strong as well. You're at the 9th level of the Void Inquiry stage. You're in the same area as the 2 of us. That's very good. Exquisite said. It's still not enough. In the past, I thought I was very capable. But now, I feel that I'm much weaker. I still need to work harder. Liang Yu said. Chapter 719. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Captain, you're not going to raise your cultivation again, are you? Yun Huang asked Yishan. Of course. My foundation is solid and my true qi is condensed. I can control it well, Night Sorrow said. Yun Huang shook his head. Exquisite felt helpless as well. They had worked very hard, but Night Sorrow had been too fast. There was nothing they could do about it. First of all, the depth of the realm's sea was different, so there was a difference in tempering. They caught a demon beast and roasted it. The four of them drank some wine together. Then, Night Sorrow went to visit Long Xiansheng and Wu Lingfei. It would take a long time for him to eat the dragon spirit pill, so he needed to know what was going on outside. Night Sorrow didn't see Long Xiansheng. Instead, he saw Wu Lingfei and Xiaolan Jun. The two told Night Sorrow that everything was normal outside, but the people of Medicine Valley had gone to Sky City. The Empyrean Terminus Tower was the most well-informed. Naturally, the Empyrean Terminus Tower knew that Lu Yangyu and Guanyi had gone to the city in the sky. Hearing this, Night Sorrow decided to go back. Wu Lingfei wanted to accompany Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow refused. He just wanted to go back and take a look, not to fight. That's fine. If there's anything, go to Tianji Tower's headquarters. The Chief Tower Master and the Chief Supervisor are there, Wu Lingfei said. After that, Yishan went to the valley where Night Moon Dynasty's troops were resting and chatted with Yi Lingxie. When there was nothing else, Night Sorrow went back to the camp. He told Yun Huang and the others that he was going to leave. Let's go back together. We also need to rest. Anyway, you have a flying ship. It won't be troublesome to use the teleportation array. Also, let's bring this guy back and introduce him to everyone. Ling Long pointed at Liang Yu. That works too. Let's go back together and rest for a few days. After thinking about Night Sorrow, he agreed. After putting away Tianyu, Night Sorrow released the airship. After letting the three enter the airship, Night Sorrow controlled the airship and rushed towards Haohai City. At the same time, Night Sorrow explained the rules of the god-slaying squad to Liang Yu. Liang Yu pondered for a moment before saying, if they are good people, then I won't betray my brother. I can take a blow for my brother. Night Sorrow nodded. That was not a problem. As long as they followed the rules of the god-slaying team, everything would be fine. When they arrived at the border of Vast Ocean City's realm sea, Night Sorrow put away the airship, and the group rode their mounts towards Vast Ocean City's teleportation array. Liang Yu's mount was the Flame Feather Eagle, which was also at the peak of Tier 4. Its speed was also extremely fast. When they arrived at the Haohai City's teleportation array, they teleported to the Taiching domain. As soon as they stepped out of the Taiching domain's teleportation array, Night Sorrow felt a killing intent lock onto him. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow shouted. He activated his protective barrier and blasted his strongest spear forward. $look at the S version T chapter S section N above OT bang. After a muffled sound, Night Sorrow's body was sent flying. Only then did Yun Huang and the other two leave their original spot. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow did not dodge. If he did, that terrifying sword chi would have struck them. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow roared again. He activated his protective barrier and cut to the side to avoid the opponent's attack. Assassination. This guy's cultivation base is at the high-level Venerable Realm. We are no match for him. Don't distract the captain. Hurry up and leave. Yun Huang's body drew an arc as he rushed towards the Tianji Tower. He knew that it was useless for him to stay. The best way was to call for reinforcements. Ling Long also followed Yun Huang and rushed towards the Tianji Tower. She could not help Night Sorrow if she stayed. Besides, she was worried that Yun Huang would be intercepted. If that happened, there would be no one to report to. You bastard. You're too despicable. Night Sorrow, run around the sea of fire. After Liang Yu shouted, he stood at the edge of the teleportation array. Then, he waved his arm and a sea of fire appeared in the open space in front of the teleportation array. At this moment, Night Sorrow also saw the attacker clearly. It was an inconspicuous old man in a gray robe. However, the long sword in his hand was very sharp. Sword chi slashed towards Night Sorrow. At the same time, he crossed the sea of fire and chased after Night Sorrow. How dare you jump into the sea of fire? Watch me burn your balls. Liang Yu roared. His arms shook, and the flames in the sea of fire soared into the sky. Not only did they block the old man, but the flames also attacked the old man's body. Night Sorrow activated his protective barrier and cut back, avoiding the old man's sword chi attack. He knew that there was no chance of winning. The strength of a high-level venerable was completely different from that of a mid-level venerable. Liang Yu, go! Night Sorrow shouted. He was worried that the old man would attack Liang Yu. Haha! I'm on the teleportation array. How dare he attack it? I don't think he has the courage. Liang Yu laughed and shouted. At the same time, he controlled the flames to burn the old man's body. Regardless of how the flames attacked, he wanted to interrupt the old man's attack rhythm and affect his vision. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and began to run around the teleportation array's hull. Attacking the teleportation array was an act of war. If the old man attacked the teleportation array, the guards of the Taiching domain would attack. There were venerable realm guards here. The gray-robed old man did not attack the teleportation array because he would be attacked by a group of people. Night Sorrow was fast and agile. The gray-robed old man could not catch up to him. However, Night Sorrow knew that this was a crisis. Once he was caught, it would be a big problem. Night Sorrow was seriously injured after taking the old man's attack head-on. His Zhen Qi was shaken, the tendons and veins in his arms were damaged, and his internal organs were displaced. Fortunately, his body was strong. Otherwise, he would have been killed in one move. While Night Sorrow was fighting, Yun Huang rushed toward the Tianji Tower. The teleportation array was not too far away from the Tianji Tower branch. Yun Huang shouted for help when he was not far away. When Yun Huang shouted for help, a sword chi flew toward Yun Huang. Yun Huang hurriedly waved his scimitar and slashed at the sword chi. Bang! After a muffled sound, Yun Huang vomited blood and was sent flying. At this time, Ling Long rushed over and pulled Yun Huang's body into the Tianji Tower's gate. We are the Tianji emissaries. We are being surrounded. Help! What's going on? At this time, two figures arrived in the Tianji Tower's lobby. There is a high-level venerable at the gate. He is asking for help. There is also a high-level venerable at the teleportation array trying to kill Night Sorrow. Help Night Sorrow quickly. Ling Long's face was full of anxiety. She knew what a high-level venerable was. They could easily kill a low-level venerable. Supervisor Lan, deal with the one at the gate. I will go to the teleportation array. A golden figure rushed out. He was the Tianji Tower's Gold Palace attendant, Yao Yang. He was currently guarding the Tianji Tower branch in the Taiching domain. Lan Yuxuan, who had dared to do something, rushed out of the Tianji Tower's gate and caught up with a thin old man. He was the venerable who had attacked Yun Huang. 7th level venerable, you came to assassinate our Tianji Tower's Tianji emissaries. Today, I want you dead, and the people behind you dead. Lan Yuxuan waved her long sword and fought with the venerable. Night Sorrow's crisis was getting more and more intense. The gray-robed old man was too strong. He had no chance to rest, and his injuries were getting worse. Chapter 720. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Because the gray-robed old man's attack frequency was fast and fierce, Knight Sorrow didn't have any time to rest. Therefore, his internal organs were impacted and he didn't have time to recover. His meridians were also on the verge of cracking due to the violent circulation of his true chi. Love go little say, Chu. Although Knight Sorrow knew that this couldn't go on, he had no other choice unless he entered the space-time treasure pagoda. However, he had been sealed all this time. Entering the space-time treasure pagoda was asking for trouble. If he used space rend, the opponent's speed would be very fast. The possibility of the attack hitting was very small. Just as Knight Sorrow was about to use soul destruction / to alleviate the crisis, an opportunity appeared. Yao Yang appeared behind Knight Sorrow and slashed out a few times, blocking the gray-robed old man's sword chi. A high-level venerable wants to kill my Tianji Tower's young master. You're tired of living. Yao Yang growled and attacked the gray-robed old man, resolving Knight Sorrow's crisis. Liang Yu ran over and pulled Knight Sorrow to the safety of the teleportation array. At this time, the Taichin Domain's guards were guarding the teleportation array with swords in hand. Love go little say, Chu, are you okay? Liang Yu looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. I'm okay. You were attacked by a high-level venerable and you didn't even give me a chance to breathe? Knight Sorrow glanced at Liang Yu and took out a drop of life spirit liquid to heal the injuries in his body. At the same time, the myriad Tao Tome and the medicine spirit's power circulated at the same time to recuperate his body. If it was me, I would have collapsed. This guy is too despicable. A high-level venerable attacked and he even assassinated him. He has no limits. Liang Yu curled his lips and said. At this time, the battle between Yao Yang and the gray-robed old man was very intense. However, Yao Yang was suppressing the other party's attacks. The long sword in Yao Yang's hand was constantly vibrating, and the sword chi he emitted carried ripples. If he really wanted to kill me, he wouldn't have given me a chance to catch my breath. If he hadn't taken the opportunity to attack me near the teleportation hall, I would have died right now, Knight Sorrow said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Venerable to assassinate you. Liang Yu nodded. At this time, Yishan was no longer in danger because the experts of the Celestial Extreme Tower had arrived. Lin's heart's heart. Lin Yuandao attacked right away. Lin Yuandao swung his arms twice and two ripples cut off the gray-robed elder's arms. Yao Yang rushed up and punched again, shattering the gray-robed old man's dantian. Then, he grabbed the gray-robed old man's neck and pulled him in front of Knight Sorrow and Lin Yuandao. As a high-level venerable, can you be more shameless? Liang Yu took 2 steps forward and stabbed his broadsword between the gray-robed old man's legs. The broadsword that was infused with fire energy was no different from a soldering iron. Love go little say W, Chu. Following the old man's scream, the old man's crotch emitted a squeaking sound and green smoke. It's not a man's thing. You can't use a man's thing. Liang Yu's words made everyone speechless. Don't kill him. We still have to interrogate him. See which force sent him. This must be investigated. Lin Yuandao could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. Just as Lin Yuandao was speaking, the old man struggled violently and tore his robe, breaking free from Yao Yang's control. Then, he slammed his head against Liang Yu's broadsword and died. Why are you so manly at a time like this? Liang Yu was stunned. He had not expected the gray-robed old man to commit suicide like this. He can't die. Yao Yang, take his corpse and see if there are any clues. Knight Sorrow, let's go. After Lin Yuandao finished speaking, he wrapped Knight Sorrow in energy and rushed toward the Tianji Tower's division. There was still an assassin there, so he was anxious to leave him alive. However, what everyone expected happened. The high-level venerable who had been crippled by Guo Shao also committed suicide. These are all death warriors. Elder Hua, Supervisor Guo, quickly go to the Qingtian region's teleportation array and the Celestial Peak Pavilion to take a look. The news hasn't spread, so if there are venerables lying in ambush, we can still catch them. Even if there are no survivors, there will still be clues. Yao Yang, go to the teleportation array in Dongxian City with Supervisor Lan and catch them. Night Sorrow and I will stay here for now. Lin Yuandao made a series of arrangements. He did not dare to act rashly, as he was worried that someone would come to kill Night Sorrow. Then, the people of Tianji Tower began to move. Night Sorrow fed Yun Huang the life spirit fluid and gave him healing medicine at the same time. Chief Tower Master, his injuries are very serious. His internal organs are ruptured, and the bones in his right hand are broken. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and said, Captain, I won't die yet. It's just that I can't fight with you for a while, Yun Huang, who was in a somewhat dispirited state, said. As long as you don't die, our Tianji Tower has the ability to recover. Lin Yuandao went to Yun Huang and pressed one hand on his shoulder to help him heal. New chapter T9 plus previous chapter #ran hour later. Yun Huang had recovered a lot. Lin Yuandao was of the water attribute, so his healing effect was very strong. Lin Yuandao stood up. Hua Haining, Guo Xiao, Yao Yang, and Lan Yuxuan had all returned. Guo Xiao was carrying an old man. The old man's limbs were broken, his dantian was shattered, and his head was fixed in place. There was also a piece of cloth stuffed in his mouth, so there was no possibility of him committing suicide. Because we were afraid that he would commit suicide, we were prepared. That's why we caught him alive. Guo Xiao threw the old man's body to the ground. Yao Yang, go interrogate him. No matter what method you use, you have to get the answer. Be careful not to let him bite his tongue and commit suicide, Lin Yuandao said to Yao Yang. Yao Yang nodded and directly opened his mouth twice, knocking out the old man's teeth. Then, he carried the old man and walked to the back of the Tianji Tower branch. Supervisor Lan, follow and watch over the treatment. If you don't say anything, you can't die even if you want to. Lin Yuandao then arranged for Lan Yuxuan. Guo Xiao and Hua Haining began to look at the bodies of the other two people. Sometimes, not only the living could speak, but the dead could also speak. This is someone from the Western Nether region. The skull tattoo on his back is a custom of the Western Nether region. After this person became a death warrior, although the tattoo was destroyed, there are still traces of it, Hua Haining said after examining the body. Someone from the Western Nether region. Our Tianji Tower doesn't have much of a dispute with the Western Nether region. To be able to send such a venerable, it can only be the arrangement of a saint. Let's see which one is more specific. Lin Yuandao had a rough idea in his heart. However, he didn't find anything on the second person. There were no marks on his body except for scars. He didn't even have a storage ring. Lin Yuandao looked carefully, looking for flaws. After a while, Lin Yuandao looked at the guy's hair. Chapter 721. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Humph. He thinks he's flawless, but his hair isn't white. It's pure silver. That's the symbol of the Qingtian region's Silver Devil clan. He should be a descendant of the Silver Dusk Saint. Lin Yuandao's eyes were filled with coldness. The one who was captured alive should be someone sent by Qin Yuan, Guo Xiao said. When Guo Xiao spoke, Yao Yang and Lan Yuxuan came out. Chief Supervisor is right. He's from the Tianfeng dynasty, Yao Yang said. Chief Supervisor Guo, take Yao Yang and accompany Night Sorrow and the others to the city in the sky. I'll take these people to see the Supreme. This matter isn't over yet, Lin Yuandao said. Then, Guo Xiao took Night Sorrow and the others back to the city in the sky. Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi were shocked to see Night Sorrow's pale face. Night Sorrow, are you injured? Sikong Chuyu helped Night Sorrow to sit down and said. Yes, I was ambushed. It's nothing, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Who's so shameless? Yang Lei was very angry. At the same time, she grabbed Night Sorrow and checked his injuries. Love go little Sei Wang, Chu, 6th senior sister, Yun Huang's injuries are more serious than mine. Get him some healing medicine in the next few days, Night Sorrow said to Aoi. Sixth senior sister, you don't know. Captain was ambushed by a high-level venerable. If we were the main target, we would be dead by now, Ling Long said. You don't have to worry. This time, Tianji Tower will make a big move. If the young master is being assassinated by a high-level venerable, it won't be Tianji Tower. Guo Zhao's face was full of murderous intent. This time, the other party's actions had crossed the bottom line of Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow then introduced Liang Yu to the others. Liang Yu was very polite at this time, cupping his hands in greeting. He was completely different from when he cut off the gray-robed elder's crotch. Liang Yu, you didn't run away at the crucial moment. You stayed behind to help our captain. I, Yin Huang, recognize you as my brother, Yin Huang said after his injuries were checked by the Aoi. Yes. I've passed this test as well. Later on, I'll recommend him to our brothers in the team. Exquisite also expressed her attitude. Then Yang Lei talked about Guan Yi and Yu Yang Yu's intention. Master wants you to make the decision. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said. We'll let Ho Jian and Xue Ling deal with this later. If they think it's appropriate, then it's appropriate. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Then, Night Sorrow asked Guo Xiao and Yao Yang to prepare a feast. He went into seclusion to heal his injuries. Yin Huang did the same. Healing pills were only supplementary effects. The main thing was to heal his body. His broken arm greatly affected his combat ability. At this time, on the island in the Realm Sea, 2 corpses were placed in front of Xia Lanjun and the others. There was also the inhuman captive. How dare they challenge our bottom line? Then there's no need to be polite. Let's fight. They used a high-level venerable to kill our young master, so we don't have to follow the rules, Xia Lanjun said. They're crazy. Zhen Hai Xing's face was full of anger. Master K, what do you mean? Xia Lanjun looked at Lin Yuandao. Let's start an all-out war. The Supreme Elder and a few saints will keep an eye on their saints here. We'll destroy the Tianfeng dynasty first, then attack the Silver Devil clan. Finally, we'll go to the Western Nether region to eradicate the forces behind the saints of the Western Nether region. Okay. Then let's do it. We'll block their saints outside Haohai City. Master K, you can lead your men to kill them. Xia Lanjun said. Master Lin Yuandao, if you need help, just call for Lord Tai Shu. Our men from the North Sea domain are at your disposal, Zhen Hai Xing said. He was expressing his stance. The Eastern Xian region and the Northern Sea region were in a complete alliance. Furthermore, Tai Shu Yen was the Vice Chief Tower Lord of the Celestial Terminus Tower. His intention was not to interfere with Tai Shu Yen's decisions. Thank you, Senior Zhen Hai Sheng. Our Tianji Tower's men will have no problem wiping them out. The pressure will be on the seniors, Lin Yuandao said. That's not a problem. We'll block them at the border of Haohai City's Realm Sea. If they come to ask for help, we'll kill them. If they want to fight, then let's play big, Xia Lanjun said. Then I'll go to the Eastern Xian region to mobilize some men. Wu Lingfei's face was full of frost. If you asked who was the angriest, it would be her. She had been silent all this time because she was ready to attack. Master Wu Kei, follow us and kill them. We'll crush them like dry weeds and not give them a chance, Xia Lanjun said. Then the group moved. Xia Lanjun and the others also moved their garrison to the border of Haohai City's Realm Sea. Lin Yuandao and Wu Lingfei left and began to mobilize their men. Night Sorrow went into seclusion for 4 consecutive days to recover from his internal injuries. The high-level Venerable's attacks were too violent and caused him great damage. Night Sorrow only came out of seclusion after he fully recovered. After coming out of seclusion, Night Sorrow went to see Yin Huang. Yin Huang had almost recovered. When he was attacked, unlike Night Sorrow who was worried about the safety of the people behind him, he dodged to the side and didn't take the full brunt of the attack. Lin Yuandao also helped him recuperate. Now, only the broken bones in his right hand needed time to heal. Yunhuang also came out of seclusion today. Soon after, the two of them went to the training field. When they saw Night Sorrow, they all greeted him. Guanyi also cupped his hands in greeting to Night Sorrow. First is my senior brother Guanyi. Whether you agree or not is up to you. However, I want to make one thing clear. Even if my 12th senior brother joins the team, he is only a member of the God-slaying team. He is my senior brother outside of the team. Now, Xueling, Ho Jian, you ask for everyone's opinion, Night Sorrow said. Then Xueling and Ho Jian asked for everyone's opinion. No one objected because Guanyi had gotten along well with everyone recently. If no one objects, he will temporarily join the God-slaying team. After a few battles, he will be an official member. Night Sorrow announced the final decision. Then, Ling Long pushed Liang Yu to Night Sorrow's side. Next up is Liang Yu. He has interacted with Yun Huang and Ling Long for some time. Now, he also wants to join our group. First of all, Yun Huang and Ling Long, what do you two think? Yi Shan looked towards Yun Huang and Ling Long. Both of us support this and officially recommend him to the team. However, this also requires everyone's acceptance, Yun Huang said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Xueling, Ho Jian. How about this? Liang Yu will temporarily join the team. After a few battles, we will make a decision based on the situation. As I said before, brotherhood is the most important thing in the God-slaying team. We will not abandon any of our brothers. We can be their backs, Night Sorrow said. Brother, don't worry. Once you understand the God-slaying team, you will definitely not feel wrong today, Yun Huang said as he patted Liang Yu's shoulder. Chapter 722. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. While Night Sorrow was making arrangements for the God-slaying team, Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and North Sea region gathered their forces and began to attack the Tianfeng dynasty. This time, it was not a battle for territory, but a battle of extermination. While Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and Northern Sea domain were charging towards the Tianfeng dynasty, Lin Yuandao, Wu Lingfei, Li Jingxian, Bei Tiangu, and Tai Shu Yan led the high-level venerables to kill their way to the capital of the Tianfeng dynasty. They didn't plan to give the Tianfeng dynasty a chance. The Tianfeng dynasty was very powerful. They had many high-level honorables and even 3 peak-level honorables. However, how could they stand against 2 saints and a team led by an invincible honorable? All the higher-ups of the Tianfeng dynasty were killed in an instant. They didn't even have the qualifications to fight back. There had never been such a battle in the past. In the past, it wasn't as if there hadn't been any fights between the major forces, but there had been no saints involved. Qin Yuan's sneak attack on the Night Moon dynasty was an exception, and it hadn't been publicized to the outside world. However, it wasn't the case this time. This time, Tianji Tower was an open assassination. After the capital of the Tianfeng dynasty fell, Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, and the others started killing from the central area to the periphery. In other words, none of the higher-ups and managers of the Tianfeng dynasty were left alive. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. Xiaoan without destroying the teleportation array, the killing speed was incomparably fast. At this time, Qin Yuan, who was meditating on an island in the realm sea, stood up, called out to West Taizong, and then went to Silver Dusk Saint's tent. What's the matter? Why are you so flustered? Silver Sunset Saint opened his eyes and stood up. My descendant, the Tianfeng dynasty's monarch's life medallion has shattered, and the other 2 peak venerables' life medallions have also shattered. This is a big deal, let's hurry over and take a look. Qin Yuan's face took on a ghastly expression because the 3 broken life badges belonged to 3 top-grade venerable ones from the Tianfeng dynasty. They're making their move now? This shouldn't be the case. Let's go and take a look. Yin Shi's face also turned cold. She knew that if the Tianfeng dynasty was destroyed, it would be a big event, and it might just be the beginning. They had just crossed the realm's sea and were about to head to the teleportation portal in Vast Sea City when they were intercepted. Everlasting Saint, what is the meaning of this? Silver Sunset Saint looked at Xia Longjun coldly and asked. Now you're asking me what I mean? Then let me ask you what you mean. Xia Longjun waved her hand and threw the two corpses and the captives who were still alive but were barely humanoid in front of her. Seeing Silver Dusk Saint's corpse, Shi Taizong and Qin Yuan's expressions changed. You don't want to say anything? True Ocean Saint asked. I don't know what you're talking about. Yin Shi replied directly. Since we've already shed all pretense of cordiality, there's no point in pretending to keep up appearances. Yin Shi, let me see how much you've improved over the years. As for daring to challenge me directly. Xia Longjun waved her arm and a long sword appeared in her hand. Xia Longjun, are you really going to fight? Silver Sunset Saint narrowed his eyes and looked at Xia Longjun. I didn't want to fight either, but you forced us to. In fact, I really don't understand how this will benefit you. The Tianfeng dynasty will be destroyed. The Silver Devil clan will be destroyed. The West Green sect will be destroyed soon. Is this the result you want? Xia Longjun waved her long sword and said. Xia Longjun, how dare you? Silver Dusk Saint roared. His silver hair shook violently and fell back to his shoulders. You dared to touch the young master of our extreme celestial palace and even send a high-level venerable to assassinate him. What else do I not dare to do? You brought about your own destruction. Since that's the case, I can't maintain peace even if I want to. Only then can we fight. Xia Longjun exhaled and said. Now that she had shed all pretense of cordiality, she had also let go of the burden. You brought this upon yourself. Long Xuanqing's figure appeared, but he appeared behind Xia Longjun and the others. Senior Long Xianqing, aren't you going to stop this? This will damage the strength of the 9 regions. Silver Dusk Saint looked at Long Xianqing and asked. Yin Shi, your words are unreasonable. It's fine if you attack the younger generation, but if they attack you, it will damage the strength of the 9 regions? I just found out that you crossed the line. Long Xianqing stood with his hands behind his back. At this moment, True Sea Saint moved and charged towards West Taizong. South Heaven Saint was also facing Qin Yuan. Flying Tiger Saint and Black Dragon Saint were also fighting. Yin Shi, I'm very disappointed in you. Now, we can only talk through battle. Xia Longjun also moved and slashed her sword towards Silver Dusk. What kind of situation was it when 8 saints were fighting? The sky was dark, and the air was filled with sharp energy. It's better not to hurt the 9 regions world. Long Xianqing stomped his right foot, and a yellow energy spread out in all directions with him as the center. As the yellow energy spread out, the sword chi and blade light landed on the ground, not even a speck of dust flew up. Because it was a targeted battle, Xia Longjun's side had the upper hand. Especially since Qin Yuan was being suppressed by South Heaven Saint. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated and killed. True Sea Saint was also completely suppressing West Taizong. On the other hand, Flying Tiger Saint and Black Dragon Saint were evenly matched. The most intense battle was between Xia Longjun and Silver Dusk Saint. The area where the two of them were fighting had spatial cracks spreading out in all directions like a spider web. However, Silver Dusk Saint could only defend and did not have any ability to counterattack. Yin Shi controlled the wind and water attribute, while Xia Longjun controlled the wind and lightning attribute. In terms of attributes, Xia Longjun was obviously stronger. Let's go. Seeing that the situation was bad, Silver Dusk Saint shouted and wanted to leave. If Yin Shi wanted to leave, it would be difficult for Xia Longjun to kill her. However, Xia Longjun did not allow her to leave the battlefield and started to surround her. At this moment, True Sea Saint, who was fighting against West Taizong, turned around and heavily injured Qin Yuan, who was using all his energy to defend against South Heaven Saint. True Sea Saint, you're despicable. Qin Yuan, who was stabbed in the back and had a hole in his chest, cursed. Who are you blaming if you're stupid? Didn't your master tell you that you have to be observant and alert during a battle? True Sea Saint, who was suppressing West Taitsung again and did not let him escape, said something that made Qin Yuan want to vomit blood. If you want to fight or run, I don't care. However, I have something to say first. If I hear that you're attacking cultivators below the Saint stage again, then wait for me to hunt you down. Of course, if you think you can withstand my anger, then do as you please. Long Xianxing looked at the situation in the sky and said. Silver Dusk Saint wanted to save Qin Yuan, but Xia Lanjun did not give her the chance. Her long sword was covered with wind blades and lightning, constantly intercepting her movements. Following a scream, Qin Yuan's neck was cut off by South Heaven Saint's sword. Then, he added another sword, shattering his spirit sea. Only 6Y11 positive, square root version 5. His all, Pirate KF version 1. At this moment, Silver Dusk Saint knew that the situation was set. She quickly drew her sword and continued to retreat. Then, a white light appeared on her body and she left through the sky. Chapter 723. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Xia Lanjun, you're despicable. I won't let you go. Silver Dusk Sage's voice came from the sky. The moment you used your despicable means, I've already made you my enemy. If you're not convinced, I'll be waiting for you at the Silver Devil Villa. Xia Lanjun shouted. Then, Xia Lanjun charged towards West Taitsong. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, she had to deal the greatest blow to her opponent. West Taitsong was already having a hard time dealing with True Ocean Sage. Now that Xia Lanjun, who was much stronger than him, was attacking him as well, he couldn't hold on any longer. In just a few moments, his left arm was chopped off. Ah! Just you wait. West Taitsong transformed into a ball of black energy and fled into the distance. There's no need to chase him. That's death disintegration. He's using his body's energy to execute his ultimate move. We can't chase after him. However, he won't be able to come out for the time being, Long Xianxing said. Then, Xia Lanjun, Southern Gansheng, True Ocean Sage, and Flying Tiger Sage began to besiege Black Dragon Sage. Haha. Well, I won't die unjustly under the encirclement of 4 sages. However, it's a pity that I met a few unscrupulous companions. Black Dragon Sage laughed and transformed into his true form to fight with the others. Black Dragon Sage, I don't want to see this happen either. Isn't the realm of unbounded desolation fine? Why do you have to get involved with them and send a high-level venerable to assassinate him? That's not right. Flying Tiger Sage sighed. Perhaps you're right. However, things have already come to this point. It has nothing to do with me. Don't think of me as such a despicable person, Black Dragon Sage said. If you want to turn back and make a promise, it's fine. Xia Lanjun said. She didn't want to lose the strength of a 9-realm saint. Besides, the ambush had nothing to do with Black Dragon Sage. Alright, let's stop and talk. If we can't, we'll fight again. Long Xianxing said. Hearing Long Xuanqing's words, the group stopped fighting and looked at Long Xianxing at the same time. Hey Kuei, the realm of unbounded desolation is not doing well? Do the demonic beasts have nowhere to go? Silver Dusk Saint and the others are scheming against us. What are you doing here? Long Xianxing said. Black Dragon Saint's name was He Kuei. Senior Long Xianxing, it's not that He Kuei is unreasonable. It's just that there are some things that He Kuei doesn't understand. The Black Dragon Sage transformed into his human form and said. Alright, if you make a promise, they will not make things difficult for you. Long Xianxing said. As long as you don't humiliate my race and my dignity, that's fine, the Black Dragon Saint said. Even in the face of danger, the Black Dragon Saint still maintained his bottom line. It's not as serious as you think. Just don't get involved with Silver Dusk Saint and the others. Also, when everyone is fighting for the 9 zones, I hope you can contribute to the 9 zones as well, Xiaolongjun said. I only just found out that they sent high-level venerables to kill low-level venerables. I despise them for abandoning their companions and running away. They are not the same kind of people. If the 9 regions world needs help, I will help. Black Dragon Xinghe Kuei said. Then go back. Xiaolongjun nodded. The Black Dragon Saint's promise was enough for the current situation. Thank you, Senior Long Xiansheng. Junior He Kuei will remember this. The Black Dragon Saint bowed. Well, you were just muddle-headed. Long Xiansheng shook his head and said. Go back. If you have time, come and drink with me. The Flying Tiger Saint threw a jar of wine to the Black Dragon Saint. Flying Tiger, I can't do anything for the unbounded desolation. I'll leave some things to you. If you need anything, let me know. After receiving the jar of wine, the Black Dragon Saint left the battlefield. Let's go to the Silver Devil Villa now. Since we've already made our move, we won't give them a chance to rest, Xiaolongjun said. She couldn't give Shi a chance to return to the Silver Devil Villa first. Xiaolongjun, let me ask for a favor. I have some friendship with the Moon Emperor. After taking down the Tianfeng dynasty, it's better for us to return the cities that originally belonged to the Night Moon dynasty to them. Seeing that Xiaolongjun and the others were about to leave, Long Xiansheng said. Long Xiansheng, you can rest assured. Even if you didn't ask, we would have done the same. Xiaolongjun nodded. Go. As for the Sky Underworld Saint, I'll deal with him. Long Xiansheng said. Just as Night Sorrow was about to leave for the island, Lutrin Swan arrived. Lutrin Swan said, Young Master, His Lordship has asked me to pass on a message. He wants you to arrange for people to take over the cities that were previously occupied by the Tianfeng dynasty in the Night Moon dynasty. What's going on? Night Sorrow asked, somewhat surprised. Lutrin Swan said, the Tianfeng dynasty has been wiped out. Now, all the major cities are ownerless. Young Master, you can send people to take over the cities. As long as the flag of the Night Moon dynasty flies in the cities, the other dynasties won't dare to attack. Okay, I'll make the arrangements. Night Sorrow then called Yi Linglan over and asked him to bring people to take over the cities. Seeing Lutrin Swan leave with the people of the Night Moon dynasty, Yun Huang muttered, looks like we've really gone overboard this time. The Tianfeng dynasty has been wiped out. How can we not go overboard? Captain is the young master of the Tianji Tower. They've crossed the line by using high-level venerables to assassinate us. We'll definitely fight them to the death. Yang Lei sighed and said, I didn't expect saints to be so stupid. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. If they know, there'll be a war. Why bother? They didn't succeed. Once they succeeded, they would have retreated. Without any clues, who can do anything to them? It's not right to make a move without evidence. The saints won't do that. Aoi thought for a moment and said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was the truth. If there was no evidence, Xiaolongjun and the others couldn't do anything. Then, everyone continued to cultivate. However, Yun Huang could only watch. His arm was still recovering. On the third night after Yi Linglan went to take over the cities, Wu Lingfei and Lin Yuandao arrived at the city in the sky. Aunt Fei, what's the situation now? Night Sorrow asked. The Tianfeng dynasty has been completely wiped out. The Qingtian domain's Silver Devil clan has been wiped out. We'll go to the West Nether domain later to wipe out the West Green sect, Wu Lingfei said. Is there any trouble? Night Sorrow asked. He knew that the saints had completely fallen out with each other this time. Taiyuan Saint Xin Yuan has been killed. Shi Taizong gave up his body and used death disintegration to escape. He won't be able to come out for a while. After all, the destruction of one's body is very serious. The Black Dragon Saint has made a promise. The problem is almost solved. The only trouble is that she has escaped, Wu Lingfei said. Seeing that Night Sorrow was fine, she felt a little more at ease. I6. Positive. Version 1. Why didn't you kill the Black Dragon Saint? Aren't you worried that he'll break the promise? Sikong Chuyu asked. The Black Dragon Saint didn't participate in the sneak attack on Night Sorrow. In addition, Long Xianxing was also present. If he wants to break the promise, he has to think twice, Wu Lingfei explained. Chapter 724. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yun Huang wasn't the only one worried about this. Everyone was worried about this. The revenge of an unscrupulous saint was too terrifying. Anyone below the saint realm would be killed instantly. You don't have to worry too much about this. Long Xianxing warned her that if she dares to attack anyone below the saint realm, Long Xianxing will deal with her. Love Go Little Say, Chu Xiaolanjun and the others also appeared in the city in the sky. That's better. Otherwise, it would really kill me. Night Sorrow said. However, she hates you to the bone. It's hard to say whether she will attack you or not. You must be careful. Zhen Haixing reminded Night Sorrow. How can I be careful? She is a saint. If she wants to kill me, I'm afraid I won't even have the ability to resist. Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile. Xiaolanjun and the others also shook their heads because this was almost unsolvable. Unless Night Sorrow was protected by someone at all times. During this period of time, follow Aunt Fei. Wu Lingfei said. Then, the saints left the city in the sky. After the war, there were many things to do. Aunt Fei, I brought trouble again this time. Night Sorrow said apologetically as he drank tea with Wu Lingfei under the lake. How is it you who brought trouble? It's us elders who didn't handle this matter well. You shouldn't be the one who should be apologetic. Wu Lingfei said. The destruction of the Tianfeng dynasty is good news for Night Moon. The other dynasties are not as happy as the Tianfeng dynasty. Night Sorrow said. Night Moon dynasty has fewer and fewer obstacles to rise. The biggest obstacle is probably the 7-star dynasty because it has a saint. However, the saint of the 7-star dynasty hasn't appeared for many years. He didn't even appear in the war between the dynasties 20 years ago. Wu Lingfei said. There are more things to do. Aunt Fei can't be quiet. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's okay. No matter who it is now, no one dares to challenge the Eastern Profound region. Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei is not in the Eastern Xian region. You have to be careful outside. Night Sorrow was also worried about Wu Lingfei's safety. Between saints, unless the gap is too big, it is almost impossible to kill them. Furthermore, you know Auntie Fei's situation, speed is fast, not everyone can threaten Auntie Fei. Love Go Little Say W Chu Wu Lingfei smiled at Night Sorrow. Then Auntie Fei has to be careful. Silver Dusk Saint is a vile person. Don't use any tricks. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew what Wu Ling concubine's true body was. Speed was her forte. Auntie Fei has been in the 9-domain world for many years, so her experience is not fake. You, on the other hand, should focus more on spatial fissures. That way, you'll have one more life-saving method, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. The two drank tea and chatted. Night Sorrow didn't feel much pressure. After all, Wu Lingfei was by his side. She wasn't someone who could be killed easily. While they were drinking tea and chatting, Yiling Lan came and told Night Sorrow that the takeover of the city had gone smoothly. Then I'll go connect to the teleportation array later, Night Sorrow said. No need. Those teleportation arrays weren't destroyed. We went to the main teleportation array of Tianfeng Royal City and took back the fragments of the teleportation crystals. They have already connected to Night Moon's teleportation array, Yi Linglan said. Then I'm relieved. Also, if someone attacks, don't resist. Just retreat. I'll take care of it, Night Sorrow said. He didn't want Night Moon to lose any members. At present, Night Moon's members were still lacking in combat strength. If the upper echelons couldn't fight, they would be at a disadvantage. Therefore, he was worried. Young master, don't worry. I have a plan for this. Yi Linglan nodded. He could see Night Moon's situation clearly. Afterward, Yi Linglan went to make the necessary arrangements. Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei continued to chat. Night Sorrow was quite happy because things were developing in a good direction. After drinking tea for a while, Night Sorrow sent Wu Lingfei to rest and went to the training field to watch the others cultivate. Look, vs forever plus free. Speak. Liang Yu and Guan Yi were currently cultivating joint attacks. If they wanted to join the god-slaying squad, they needed to know joint attacks. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang took out a jug of wine and chatted as they drank. It's uncomfortable to stay here. Once my arm recovers, we'll go to that island and continue cultivating in the chaotic streams of space in the realm C, Yun Huang said. He couldn't move his arm easily and felt quite sullen. That's fine. Once your arm recovers, we'll take everyone to the realm C to cultivate. Cultivating there will give us a solid foundation. But you and Linglong have to control it well. Nothing can happen. We can't lose any of our brothers, Night Sorrow said after a moment's thought. Yun Huang nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow hoped that everyone's cultivation would improve quickly, but safety was the most important thing. Night Sorrow and the three women waited until evening before returning to the mansion. 13. I'm a bit scared. This world is too chaotic. I used to think that 5th stage experts were experts, and sovereigns were amazing. But now, even saints view you as an enemy, Yang Lei said, looking at Night Sorrow. It's decided by height. If I were a low-level cultivator, they wouldn't be interested in me. Don't worry, 9th senior sister. With Ani Fei here, no one can do anything to me, Night Sorrow said, hugging Yang Lei. As we grow stronger, our opponents will also become stronger. If we want to stand firm, we have to improve our cultivation. Sikong Chuyu nodded. I haven't had time to check these days. How's my 12th senior brother in the team? Night Sorrow asked. Guan Yi is very hardworking. Everyone recognizes him. There shouldn't be a problem, Aoi said. That's good. This way, I won't make things difficult for him, and I won't make things difficult for him. Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. Whether or not Guan Yi could join the god-slaying team was very important. If something went wrong, not only would it affect their relationship as brothers, it would also hurt Lu Yangyu's reputation. Besides, Lu Yangyu would also lose face. After drinking tea for a while, Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei went to rest. They wanted to give Night Sorrow and Aoi some space. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow sent Aoi back to rest. In front of Aoi's room, Night Sorrow opened his arms and hugged Aoi. Aoi also hugged Night Sorrow's waist. 13th junior brother's chest is very warm. It would be better if 6th senior sister could feel at ease, Night Sorrow said, looking at Aoi's blushing face. Chapter 725. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. Hugging Aoi's body, Night Sorrow instinctively reacted. Aoi, who was leaning on Night Sorrow, felt it. 13, 6th senior sister isn't free right now. Can we do it later? Aoi's voice was pitifully soft. Night Sorrow was a cultivator, so he couldn't hear her. Yes, 6th senior sister. I didn't think about that. Hugging 6th senior sister makes me feel warm and secure, Night Sorrow said. Aoi then kissed Night Sorrow and ran back to the pavilion. Night Sorrow smiled and returned to the main building. Then, he sat down and cultivated. Now that the sense of danger was getting stronger, he had to hurry up and improve his cultivation. Night Sorrow communicated with the Spacetime Pagoda to help him. His main goal was to improve his bloodline power and soul power. Night Sorrow wanted to improve the power of spatial rend. He wanted to reach the realm where he could tear through space and enter spatial turbulence as soon as possible. That way, he would have more ways to escape if he was chased. In the morning, while the girls were washing up, Night Sorrow was cultivating his spear arts. Aoi also brought him a basin of water. 13. Why did you come back to cultivate last night? Why didn't you accompany 6th senior sister? I'm completely convinced by you. Don't tell me you want 6th senior sister to wait for you in your room? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with disappointment. No, some things are better left to nature, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Some things couldn't be explained. 9th junior sister, why are you so rude now? You dare to say anything? Aoi glared at Yang Lei. 6th senior sister, I'm doing this for the sake of our family. Yang Lei didn't care about Aoi's glare. 9th senior sister, Chuyu, the two of you have already advanced to the 7th level of the Void Inquiry stage. You can take the Extreme Void Pill. However, it's better for you to stabilize your cultivation base first before taking it. Don't leave behind any side effects that might cause you to have an unstable foundation. 6th senior sister, the same goes for you. Night Sorrow changed the topic while wiping his face. During the time that Night Sorrow was in the Realm C, the cultivation bases of the three women had improved tremendously. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei had both advanced to the late Void Inquiry stage and reached the 7th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Aoi had also advanced to the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage. We're your senior sisters. We know what's going on. We won't make you worry, Aoi said with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow brought the women to the training ground. The women followed the others to cultivate while Night Sorrow used the void-splitting spear to practice his spear techniques and improve his cultivation base. Many people did not pay much attention to the cultivation of their cultivation base after entering the Venerable Realm. All of them focused on improving their cultivation base as quickly as possible. However, Night Sorrow felt that having a high cultivation base was also a foundation. There were many benefits to it. Thus, he never gave up. Night Sorrow did not use his true chi. Just by waving the void-splitting spear casually, he could cause the energy of heaven and earth to surge. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Wu Lingfei came over and sat beside the tea table. She took out a tea set and began to make tea. After cultivating for a while, Night Sorrow came to Wu Lingfei's side and sat down to drink tea. After sizing up Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. While your cultivation base is progressing steadily, don't give up on improving your cultivation base. This is the foundation. The higher your cultivation base is, the smoother your cultivation will be. Also, your body's cultivation base is progressing well. The essence chi smoke is close to 6 zhang. You're not far from the realm where your essence chi smoke will soar into the sky. I won't hide it from you, Auntie Fei. My body's cultivation base has reached the final stage of the 5th stage. Once I break through this stage, my cultivation base will be on par with the Venerable Realm. At that time, my strength will increase even more, Night Sorrow said. That's good. A strong body is the foundation of a cultivator's great achievements. It's like a bottle. A big bottle, a strong bottle, can hold more energy. Also, you're cultivating the void-splitting spear. The strength of your body is an important factor in resisting the spatial turbulence, Wu Lingfei said. Entering the spatial turbulence? Isn't the strength of the protective barrier the most important factor in resisting the spatial turbulence? Night Sorrow asked. Normally, that's the case. But have you ever thought about it? The body is the core of the protective barrier. If the core isn't strong, the protective barrier won't be stable. It's like a small tree branch. If you put a heavy armor on it, it won't be able to support it. Spatial turbulence and spatial strangulation will attack through the protective barrier. Therefore, a strong body is very important. Wu Lingfei explained the importance of a strong body to Night Sorrow. Yi Shang nodded, understanding the logic behind it. Many demon beasts and spirit beast cultivators, as well as some ancient families, have special offensive secret arts and innate divine abilities. The protective barrier can't completely block attacks. At that time, the strength of the body is the key to defense. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow again. I understand innate divine abilities. I also know a little about ancient families. But where did their secret arts come from? Were they created by their ancestors? Night Sorrow asked curiously. How do I put it? Demon beasts and spirit beasts can transform. After transforming, they are no different from humans. Some marry human women, and some marry human men. Their descendants have a chance to inherit their parents' bloodline and inheritance. The more talented they are, the more likely they will inherit their parents' innate divine abilities. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow about the inheritance of ancient families. I see. Ah. Then our Night Moon dynasty is the same. Could it be that I also have the bloodline of demon beasts or spirit beasts? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. What's so surprising about that? It depends on whether or not your family has records of it. Spatial rend isn't simple, but the situation isn't necessarily the same as what Auntie Faye said. There are also some ancient bloodlines. Their parents or ancestors have cultivated to a level recognized by the heavenly Tao. They can be passed down to their descendants. Do you really care about this? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. It's nothing. I'm just curious. I feel that races are very complicated. Night Sorrow rubbed his forehead and said. It's not complicated. Perhaps there is racial discrimination. Humans look down on demon beasts, and demon beasts with extraordinary talents look down on humans. For example, the Golden Dragon race will never marry with other races. Wu Lingfei said. Yong Chu Jiu Yi Fei read novels. Auntie Fei, you don't look down on humans, do you? Night Sorrow asked Wu Lingfei. How do I put it? It's not a matter of looking down on him or not. It's mainly a matter of getting along with him. He has nothing to do with Auntie Fei, so why would I look down on him or not? What about you? Wu Lingfei asked Yi Shang. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, in fact, I have some thoughts. I can't deny that some evil races are repelled. However, Auntie Fei is the one I respect the most in my heart. This will never change. Indeed, it is impossible to say that there is no rejection at all. Some races are born to fight, while others are born to be evil. This is something that cannot be changed. However, many of the higher-ranked races are arrogant and disdain to do such despicable things. Wu Lingfei told Yi Shang some things that no one else knew. Chapter 726. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Wu Lingfei nodded. Her heart felt much better. In this world, Wu Lingfei didn't have any relatives. Night Sorrow was the only one. Also, it was a fact that they were of different races. She didn't want Night Sorrow to have a knot in his heart because of this problem. In fact, there were many things that Wu Lingfei didn't say. In the eyes of some talented races, humans were weak. They looked down on humans. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow continued to practice his spear arts. He used the Space Splitter Spear. The Reincarnation Spear was very compatible with him. Right now, he was building a foundation for the compatibility of his doppelganger weapon. Seeing Night Sorrow's focused expression, Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow's state of mind was very good. Ordinary things couldn't affect his mood. In addition, it also meant that Night Sorrow didn't care about these things. After cultivating until night time, Night Sorrow called Wu Lingfei, Guan Yi, and Liang Yu to his residence to eat. 13th junior brother, I'm here. You can just treat me as an ordinary member of the god-slaying squad, Guanyi said. You're a member of the god-slaying squad at other times. Privately, you're my 12th senior brother. Knight Sorrow raised his wine cup to Guanyi. 13th junior brother, I was a bit selfish this time. I wanted to improve myself and live a more exciting life. I've caused you trouble, Guanyi said apologetically. Don't say that, 12th senior brother. It's nothing. Liang Yu, you just came here and might not be familiar with it. You'll get used to it. The members of the god-slaying squad are a group of loyal people. Knight Sorrow shook his head at Guanyi and then looked at Liang Yu. While you were recovering, I interacted with them for a few days. I felt pretty good. You don't have to worry about me. I can do whatever the others can do. Liang Yu said. Liang Yu then drank some wine and left. He knew that this was Knight Sorrow's family feast. He called him because he was afraid that he wouldn't be used to it. 12th senior brother, do you have enough death crystals now? Knight Sorrow looked at Guanyi and asked. It's enough, there's still a lot. Right now, my Jinshi attribute has already been strengthened to the extreme. Only by increasing my cultivation base can I strengthen my Jinshi attribute. 13th junior brother, you don't need to worry about me. Guanyi said. He was very touched. He knew that Knight Sorrow had not communicated much with him and even said that they did not have any feelings for each other. However, Knight Sorrow was still willing to help him. After that, Guanyi left as well. Only he knew what he was thinking. Knight Sorrow, Auntie Fei has also gone to her loft to rest. If there's anything, just go and call Auntie Fei. She stood up and shook her skirt before walking towards her loft. Knight Sorrow, what do you plan to do next? Aoi asked Knight Sorrow. I'm going to eat the dragon spirit pill to increase my cultivation base. However, it will take a long time to refine, so I can't delay everyone. Later, I'll bring everyone to the island in the Realm's Sea to cultivate. Everyone will see how strong they are in the outer region of the spatial turbulence. After that, I'll eat the dragon spirit pill, Knight Sorrow said. That's good. The three of us are going to eat the void pill to increase our cultivation base. After that, we'll definitely need to stabilize our cultivation base, Sikong Chuyu said. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said, let's wait for 2 more days. Let's see how big the war is this time. The war wasn't over yet. Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and Northern Sea region were still attacking Western Nether region's Western Azure sect. That was Western Taitsong's sect. At this time, a massacre was taking place at Western Azure sect's mountain gate. Xia Lanjun led a group of people to slaughter Western Azure sect. However, halfway through the massacre, a problem occurred. A white-haired, black-robed old man appeared. This old man directly injured Latrin Swan with a single move. At the same time, he also pushed Lin Yuandao far away. Xia Lanjuan's expression changed drastically. She hurriedly stopped this old man. However, in fact, Xia Lanjun couldn't resist at all. She was suppressed and forced to retreat. True Ocean Saint, Nangon Saint, and Flying Tiger Saint came to help, but they were also suppressed. They couldn't stop this white-haired, black-robed old man's attacks. At this time, Xia Lanjun crushed Long Xuanqing's messaging crystal. If she still didn't know what was going on, she would be a fool. She knew that this white-haired, black-robed old man with a gloomy aura was the heavenly underworld saint that Long Xuanqing had mentioned. You dare to behave atrociously in my Western Nether region? Then, all of you should die. The white-haired, black-robed old man snorted coldly. His attacks became more violent. Xia Lanjun and the rest found it difficult to resist because this old man was simply too strong. A bunch of reckless fools. The black-robed old man roared as he attacked. Xia Lanjun knew that this was a crisis for them. If they could hold on until Long Xuanqing arrived, then they would be fine. If they couldn't, then someone would die. At this time, the importance of unity could be seen. No matter who Heavenly Underworld Saint attacked, the others would block with all their strength. The battle was in a stalemate. However, Lin Yuandao and the rest killed the upper echelons of the Western Green Sect. After killing the upper echelons of the Western Green Sect, Lin Yuandao and the rest didn't move. He and Guo Xiao were both new saints. After the time it took to brew a cup of tea, a figure appeared on the battlefield. Heavenly Underworld Saint, you don't care about the safety of the 9 regions now. Aren't you afraid that the 9 regions will lose their strength? Long Xianxing, they have attacked my Western Nether region. Are you going to interfere? Heavenly Underworld Saint retreated a distance and said coldly. Why don't you ask why they are here? Long Xianxing said. Xia Lanjun, I know you. You better give me an explanation. Heavenly Underworld Saint waved his sleeve and said. It's Western Green Sect's Western Green Sect's Western Green Sect. He sent a high-level saint to assassinate the young master of my Tianji Tower. This is to destroy the foundation of my Tianji Tower. Xia Lanjun said. Heavenly Underworld Saint thought for a moment and said, Long Xianxing, are you guys on the same side? F3 equals first hair, the person who was assassinated is from my Eastern Xian region. To be able to become the young master of the Tianji Tower, you should know what it means to my Eastern Xian region. Long Xianxing said. You guys are in the right. Long Xianxing, since you are here, why don't we have a battle? Heavenly Underworld Saint said. Then let's try. But if you lose, don't get involved in this matter. Long Xianxing said. If I lose, you can take my life. Heavenly Underworld Saint snorted and put away the long sword in his hand. Another long sword that seemed to be absorbing the light rose from his back. All of you, back off. Long Xianxing waved his sleeve and blocked Xia Lanjun and the others behind him. Then, he waved his left hand. As Long Xianxing waved his arm, the heaven and earth around him shook. Then, energy began to gather. At this time, Heavenly Underworld Saint slashed his long sword at Long Xianxing. With a slash of his sword, a crack appeared in the space. The sharp sword chi slashed towards Long Xianxing. Long Xianxing punched out with his right hand and continued to wave his left hand. With a loud explosion, Long Xianxing took 2 steps back and offset Heavenly Underworld Saint's sword chi. Chapter 727. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. As the energy gathered, a yellow spherical space appeared. Heavenly Underworld Saint was in the middle of the yellow spherical space. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs. Com Long Xianxing rubbed his hands, and the yellow spherical space began to spin. Green and silver energy appeared in the middle of the spherical space, and several types of energy began to attack Heavenly Underworld Saint. Is this your spatial attack? You still can't do anything to me. Heavenly Underworld Saint roared, and a grayish-black protective shield appeared. Then, he waved his sword and attacked the spatial barrier of the yellow spherical space. If you can't do anything to me, then what? I hope you can withstand it. Chaotic space. Long Xianxing roared, and the energy in the yellow spherical space began to tremble violently. The energy trembled layer by layer, and Heavenly Underworld Saint was about to be torn apart. What the hell is this? Heavenly Underworld Saint's face changed when he felt his energy being torn apart and crushed. This is my chaotic space. Even if you want to run, I'm afraid you won't be able to. Long Xianxing continued to wave his arms, and streams of energy entered the yellow spherical space, increasing the power of the chaotic space. Heavenly Underworld Saint continued to attack the spatial barrier with his sword. However, as soon as the sword chi left his sword, it was destroyed by the chaotic space. The damage to the spatial barrier was very low, and it was impossible to break it. This is a heaven-defying method. Flying Tiger Saint sighed. Just now, when the few of them joined forces, they were still unable to resist Heavenly Underworld Saint. But now, Heavenly Underworld Saint was completely suppressed by Long Xianxing. Of course, Heavenly Underworld Saint was not willing to be beaten up passively. He continued to attack the spatial barrier of the yellow spherical space. However, as the chaotic space continued to attack, the strength of his attack on the spatial barrier was very low, and there was no possibility of breaking it. Square root zs asterisk 9 version head m hair, you can still resist, then let's continue to add more energy. Long Xianxing waved his left hand, and a stream of fiery red energy entered the yellow spherical space again. As the fiery red energy entered, the energy attack of the chaotic space became stronger. Heavenly Underworld Saint had to use all his strength to support his protective shield to resist. At this time, Long Xianxing sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his left hand, the khaki-colored space moved above his head. Then, he continuously injected energy into the space. Long Xianxing, you are very shameless. If you have the ability, let me out. Let's have a real fight. Unable to break out of the chaotic space, the Heavenly Underworld Saint could only passively let out a roar. I didn't set any traps for you, nor did I use any dishonorable means. The chaotic space is my ultimate move. If you can't break it, then you don't have the qualifications to fight with me. Take it slowly. Long Xianxing waved his hand and sent energy into the chaotic space. This spatial disorder is even stronger than the violent energy attack in the spatial turbulence outside Hao Tian City. If this continues, Heavenly Underworld Saint's body and soul will be torn apart when his protective energy is depleted, True Sea Saint said with a sigh. Junior, shut up. It's not that easy to tear me apart. Heavenly Underworld Saint tried to break out of the chaotic space. However, even if he managed to break out of the chaotic space, Long Xianxing waved his hand and the chaotic space flew back above his head. As time passed, the Heavenly Underworld Saint became more and more miserable. He had to block the chaotic energy attack in the chaotic space, which consumed a lot of energy. However, he could not break out of the chaotic space. The Heavenly Underworld Saint took out elixirs and resources from his storage ring several times, intending to replenish his energy. However, no matter if it was elixirs or spirit stones, the moment they came out of the storage ring, they would be crushed by the chaotic space. Heavenly Underworld Saint could not protect himself even if he wanted to. You want to replenish your energy and play a war of attrition? You won't have the chance to do so. Long Xianxing said coldly. How can I not protect my elixirs in my protective energy shield? The Heavenly Underworld Saint's face changed. If his energy supply was cut off, it would be difficult for him to hold on. Oh, I forgot to tell you. My chaotic space uses space as its foundation. Together with the support of the earth, wind, and fire attribute energy, it can perform space-skipping attacks. So, don't waste your resources. You won't be able to eat any resources. Long Xianxing said. As the battle continued, the Heavenly Underworld Saint's cultivation was constantly being depleted. If it was someone else, they would not let you live at all. However, I am willing to give you a chance. First, you have to promise that you will not leave the Western Nether region. Long Xianxing said. When did I leave the Western Nether region? You guys are the ones who attacked me. The Heavenly Underworld Saint roared. Also, if there is a war outside the 9 regions, will you participate? If you participate, I will spare your life. If you don't, there is no point in keeping you alive. Long Xianxing said. The Heavenly Underworld Saint tried to break out of the chaotic space 2 more times. However, he did not manage to break out of the chaotic space. Then, he agreed. Heavenly Underworld Saint, remember this. Others might not be able to do anything to you. However, if I want to kill you, you will not be able to run away. So, you better not break your promise. Long Xianxing waved his arm. After the chaotic space shook, a part of it dissipated while the other part entered his body. Long Xianxing, you win. I will remember this. Why are you still not leaving? Do you want to raze this place to the ground? The Heavenly Underworld Saint looked at Xie Lanjun and the others and roared. The main thing was that he had lost face. Let's go. Long Xianxing ignored the flustered heavenly underworld saint and left with Xia Longjun and the others. Senior Long Xianxing, you came in time today. Otherwise, we would be in trouble. Flying Tiger Saint said. There is still a gap between you guys and him. Cultivate slowly. Time is the best grinding stone. Long Xianxing said. Although the Western Green sect is not destroyed, it has been crippled. The only one left is Yin Shi. I don't know if she will cause any more trouble. Xia Longjun said. You guys can solve her problem. I don't think she will dare to attack anyone easily now. You guys should stay in the domain C and see when Clear Sky City will appear. Long Xianxing said after arriving at the teleportation array. As long as this heavenly underworld saint doesn't leave the western nether region, the pressure on our side will be reduced even if Clear Sky City appears. I wonder if Yin Shi will go there again. Nan Xianxing said as he looked at the back of Long Xianxing. Do you think Long Xianxing didn't think about this? Otherwise, he wouldn't have restricted heavenly underworld saint from leaving the western nether region. Now, we just need to be careful of Yin Shi. She is fast and has innate divine ability. It is very difficult to kill her. True Ocean Saint said. Alright, let's go back. We have vented our anger this time. We have endured them for too long. Xia Longjun said. She won't attack us because it is not easy for her to kill us even if our cultivation is low. I am just worried about Night Sorrow. Will she attack Night Sorrow? The reason for this was the assassination of Night Sorrow. Now that things have gotten out of hand, she will hold a grudge against Night Sorrow. Lin Yuandao was worried. Chapter 728. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. We can only be careful. Love go little say, Chu Xia Longjun said. No one could do anything about the current situation. They could only be cautious because only Long Xianxing and Xia Longjun could defeat Yin Shi. Yin Shi would definitely avoid the two of them if she made a move. If she avoided Long Xianxing and Xia Longjun, the others wouldn't be able to withstand Yin Shi's attack. I hope she can take Senior Long Xuanqing's warning into consideration and not act recklessly, True Ocean Saint said. Then, the group went to the island in the Realm C to set up camp. The matter was basically settled. They still had to look at Haotian City. Night Sorrow also learned about the battle from Lin Yuandao. Night Sorrow could accept such an outcome because in summary, the Silver Dusk Saint was still a hidden danger. Then, Lin Yuandao and the others left. Night Sorrow also planned to move. He gathered the members of the God-slaying squad and told them about the training plan. Then, he led everyone out. It should be said that Wu Lingfei led everyone out. She was worried about Night Sorrow's safety and was almost protecting him. After arriving at Haohai City, the group took a flying ship and flew to the island in the Realm Sea. You want to eat the dragon spirit pill? Then, you can cultivate with Auntie Fei, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow as they sat in the flying ship. Okay. Night Sorrow nodded. It was indeed time for him to use the dragon spirit pill to cultivate. Soon, the group arrived at the area where they had set up camp. None of you have experience in cultivating in the spatial turbulence of the Realm Sea. So, while I'm in seclusion, Yun Huang and Ling Long will be fully responsible for cultivating in the Realm Sea. Everyone must follow orders, Night Sorrow said to the group of people who had set up the tents. Yes. The members of the God-slaying squad knocked on their breastplates and answered. Nan Liyue, give them breastplates. Night Sorrow pointed at Liang Yu and Guan Yi. Captain, don't worry. Everything will be arranged. Love go little say, Chu Nan Liyue nodded. Alright, everyone go do what you need to do. Qin Zhen, stay behind. Night Sorrow nodded and dismissed the meeting. Then, he brought Qin Zhen to his tent. Brother 13, what can I do for you? Qin Zhen asked. It's nothing much. You're not far from reaching Tier 5. How's your attribute power training going? Night Sorrow asked as he brewed tea. I'm doing okay with my cultivation. I feel like I'm on the verge of evolving. Right now, there is the power of death in my darkness attribute, Qingjin said. Very good. Here, take these death crystals. If you don't have enough, come find me. Night Sorrow brought out 10 death crystals and handed them to Qingjin. Brother 13, I don't need that much. I'll take 5 yuan first. Qingjin took 5 yuan and pushed the rest back to Night Sorrow. That's fine. Come find me if you need it. No need to be so polite. Yishan didn't force Qingjin. After nodding at Night Sorrow, Qingjin returned to the God-slaying squad's camp. Then, Night Sorrow brewed tea and drank it with Aoi, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Wu Lingfei. We'll be cultivating with the team from now on, Aoi said. Okay. Safety comes first. Don't go too deep into the Realm C spatial turbulence. It's not a joke, Night Sorrow reminded the 3 girls. Seeing the 3 of them nod, Yishang was relieved. Then, the 3 girls went to their tents. Wu Lingfei also went to the tent that Night Sorrow helped set up. Night Sorrow took out a dragon spirit pill, ate it, and started cultivating. Night Sorrow worked hard to cultivate his bloodline talent and soul power while raising his true energy. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, the others did the same. Aoi, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu all ate void pills to raise their cultivation bases. The others followed Yun Huang, Ling Long, and Liang Yu to the edge of the Realm C spatial turbulence to hone their cultivation bases. Night Sorrow cultivated day and night. Refining a single dragon spirit pill took about 20 days. In the Sky Pillar domain, a silver-haired woman in a white dress stood in the ruins of the Silver Demon Villa. Her face was full of anger. She was none other than the strongest member of the Silver Demon clan, Yin Shi. How could she suppress her anger when she saw her clan being destroyed? She clapped her hands, sending the broken beams and tiles flying. She growled, Xia Lanjun, you destroyed my clan. You and I can't exist under the same sky. I'll definitely destroy your Tianji Tower. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. After going crazy for a while, Inshi calmed down. She knew that getting angry wouldn't solve the problem. First, she had to think of a feasible solution. This time, she had rushed back after learning that Xia Lanjun and the others had gone to the Realm C. Inshi was very strong, but she wasn't Xia Lanjun's match. Last time, she had used her clan's innate divine ability, which had damaged her chi and blood. Although it didn't affect her cultivation base, it had affected her body. This was also why Xia Lanjun had said that she wanted to see how many times she could use the wind essence escape technique. After thinking for a while, Inshi felt that she had to start with Night Sorrow. First of all, everything was caused by Night Sorrow. Also, Night Sorrow's body had been cultivated to the point where his chi and blood were more than 6 meters tall. This meant that he had a body tempering technique. Inshi gritted her teeth and made a decision. She planned to absorb Night Sorrow's chi and blood for her own use. That way, she would be able to use the wind essence escape technique without restraint in the future. After leaving the Silver Demon Villa, Inshi went to recover. She needed to recover before doing anything else. Although she hated Yi Shiwen to the core, her many years of cultivation had made her very calm. Even if she hated Yi Shiwen, she could endure it. Night Sorrow worked hard to raise his cultivation base every day. When the Dragon Spirit Pill increased his chi cultivation base, his soul power and bloodline talent also increased greatly. 20 days passed quickly. Night Sorrow's cultivation base had reached the peak of 2nd level Venerable. However, his chi cultivation base was still unstable. This was the drawback of using pills. Night Sorrow's soul power had also increased a lot. The crescent blade of soul annihilation slash was becoming more and more solid. It was sparkling and translucent with a hint of purple. The other 5 bloodline talents were also basically saturated. Their bloodline talents were much more condensed. After leaving the tent, Night Sorrow practiced his spear arts for a while. Then, he went to the edge of the realm sea. At this time, the members of the god-slaying squad were cultivating at the edge of the chaotic streams of space. Yun Huang, Ling Long, and Liang Yu were a little deeper. The 3 of them formed a line that no one else could cross. If anyone else went any deeper, it would be dangerous. After greeting the others, Night Sorrow entered the depths of the realm sea and began cultivating in the chaotic streams of space. In the chaotic streams of space, Night Sorrow was like an eagle spreading its wings and striking the waves. The captain is getting more and more monstrous, Ling Long said with a sigh as she crossed paths with Yun Huang in the chaotic streams of space. Work hard on your cultivation. His combat ability is already strong. Now that his cultivation base has increased, he's naturally stronger, Yun Huang said. Chapter 729. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by shall. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Long Xianxing had said that if he found out that she had attacked any cultivator below the saint stage, he would teach her a lesson. Love Go Shao Sei Ku with a threat, and she did not dare to be careless. One careless mistake could be fatal. After thinking for a while, she decided to go to the eastern Xian domain to catch someone that Night Sorrow cared about. In this way, she could make Night Sorrow submit without resistance. She had read the information about Night Sorrow's growth and knew some things about him. After thinking for a while, she found a small town and bought a light yellow dress. She also did her hair a little and then took the transmission array to the eastern Xian domain. She planned to take a risk. As long as she did not meet a saint, her identity would not be exposed. She did not believe that her luck would be so bad. After being transmitted to Dongxian City, she found a tea house to drink tea and chat. At this time, the cultivators in the tea house were all talking about the recent situation outside. They talked about the destruction of several major forces and also mentioned the name of Night Sorrow, the Deputy Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. Where did our Deputy Valley Master come from? She asked. At this time, she was wearing a simple and elegant dress. Her beautiful hair was draped over her shoulders and her face was also very beautiful. She looked like a princess of a big family traveling. No one would doubt her at all. Baidu search Love Go Shao Shua www.aichux.com. The cultivators in the Medicine Valley who admired Night Sorrow very much told her about Night Sorrow's situation. After learning that Zhuyuan City was the place where Night Sorrow came from, she rushed to Zhuyuan City. When she arrived at a tavern in Zhuyuan City, she heard other people's discussions. Baidu search Love Go Shao Shua www.aichux.com. At this time, in a corner of the tavern, Chen Chen was drunk and shouting loudly, saying that Night Sorrow was not good. That's enough. Did Vice Valley Master Yi treat you badly? I brought you to Dongxian City but you didn't want to go. Instead, you wanted to use Vice Valley Master Ye's reputation to mess around. Who can you blame? It's your sworn brother who has no morals. A Medicine Valley disciple stood up. They could not bear to see others slander Yi Shang. Shi's eyes lit up when she heard the words of this disciple from the Medicine Valley. Since he was Night Sorrow's sworn brother, he must know a lot even without mentioning his value. Shi walked over, waved his arm, and subdued Chen Chen without anyone noticing. Then, he called for a beast carriage, threw Chen Chen onto it, and left the city. After leaving the city, Shi directly threw Chen Chen into a small forest and then controlled the water energy to rush on Chen Chen's head to wake him up. Stop playing dead, Night Sorrow's sworn brother. You still have some value. Does Night Sorrow have any relatives? She asked. Sworn brother? Since when did he treat me as his sworn brother? He only has his father in his eyes and doesn't take me seriously. If you want to find value from me, then you're blind. Chen Chen glanced at Yin Shi and said, I'm blind. Well said. Now I want to ask you, what's the situation with Chen Chen's father? Yin Shi asked while holding back her anger. Give me the spirit stone, or I won't tell you. Chen Chen sobered up at this time and understood the situation. He knew that this woman was not simple, so he wanted to exploit her. At this time, Yin Shi took out a piece of upper spirit stone and threw it in front of Chen Chen. Tell me. Don't challenge my bottom line. Haha. It turns out that you're someone with status and family background. I told you, are you going to kill me? Swear that you won't kill me. Although I also want to kill Night Sorrow, the premise is that I can't die in your hands. Chen Chen looked at Yin Shi and said. You're young, but you're very scheming. But I admire you for this. I'm the saint of the silver dusk. Your conditions are not bad. Come with me. I'll let you watch Night Sorrow die. Yin Shi glanced at Chen Chen. She found that Chen Chen was very scheming. Not to mention his talent in cultivation, this scheming mind could work for her. Saint of the Silver Dusk. You're a saint? Chen Chen asked in surprise. Yes, so you're right to follow me. Now I'm going to catch Night Sorrow's adoptive father. Tell me the details. Yin Shi waved her hand and released the restriction on Chen Chen. Chen Chen did not hide anything and then told her about Night Sorrow's interpersonal relationships. We can't make too much noise and we can't catch people randomly. It's enough to catch his adoptive father alone. Yin Shi said. She did not want to make a big deal out of it now. The more secret it was, the better. B. Update C. New B. Past Q. Then, under Chen Chen's lead, Yin Shi and Chen Chen went to the periphery of Longquan Resort. Saint of the Silver Dusk did not make a move. She had been waiting for an opportunity. In order not to alert the enemy, she could only wait. If she used force, the matter would spread. Killing to silence would not work either. The matter would still be exposed. Go and ask Father Gu to come out. Just ask him to come out. After thinking for a while, Saint of the Silver Dusk made a decision. At this time, she smiled. Because of Chen Chen's appearance, if something happened to Father Gu, others would only look for Chen Chen. It had nothing to do with her. Chen Chen nodded and entered the Longquan Resort, asking to see Father Gu. Seeing Chen Chen, Father Gu was very angry. What are you doing here? Father, don't be angry. Brother Night Sorrow isn't angry anymore. He's talking with several senior sisters in the city and asked me to invite you over. He also wants me to apologize to you alone. Chen Chen bowed and said. Humph, take me to see him. Father Gu snorted coldly. He wanted to ask Night Sorrow why he was paying attention to Chen Chen. He knew that Chen Chen had bad intentions, so there was no need to pay attention to him. After saying goodbye to Hai Luo and the others, Father Gu and Chen Chen left Longquan Resort. After leaving Longquan Resort, Father Gu was restrained by Yin Shi. Yin Shi just did not want to show up. It was too easy for her to make a move. After all, she just wanted to put the blame on Chen Chen for Father Gu's disappearance. After taking Father Gu hostage, Yin Shi took Father Gu and Chen Chen and flew directly out of this area. Then, they flew across the territorial sea to the Taiyue domain. After that, they were teleported to a courtyard on the periphery of the Silver Devil family in the Qingtian domain. Yin Shi took out a memory crystal and recorded Father Gu's image. Then, she said to Chen Chen, since you're following me, I won't treat you badly. It's not a problem to provide you with medicinal pills to enter the 5th or 6th rank. Now, go and buy 2 maids back to take care of him. Also, inquire about the people of Tianji Tower and Night Sorrow, mainly Night Sorrow. After Chen Chen nodded, he went out. He knew that his opportunity had come. Following a saint was the dream of many cultivators. Yin Shi returned to her original appearance and continued to meditate. At the same time, she was thinking about how to trick Night Sorrow out without anyone noticing. A few days after Chen Chen went out, he returned with 2 maids. Chapter 730. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. She repeatedly told Chen Chen not to touch Mr. Gu. It was not because she was kind, but because she knew that Night Sorrow had a strong character. If anything happened to Mr. Gu, she would have no hope of getting the body refining method that she wanted. After Chen Chen left for a while, she left as well. She was going to look for opportunities. At this moment, the 2 maidservants took out the strip of cloth from Father Gu's mouth. Child, those 2 aren't good people. They kidnapped me to blackmail others. Once she succeeds, she will definitely kill us in order to not leak the secret. At that time, all 3 of us will die. Why don't we escape? My adopted son is a big shot. He's the Deputy Valley Master of the Medicine Valley and the young Lord of the Night Moon Dynasty. It won't be a problem for him to help you, Father Gu said to the 2 maidservants. Old Man Gu could release his mount to attack the 2 maidservants, but he still wanted to persuade them. Because if he directly killed or ran away, it would be equivalent to harming the 2 maidservants. He didn't want to go against his heart. But the soul-cracking crystal has been planted in our heads. It's easy for us to be killed, one of the maidservants said. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com, we still have a chance to run. As long as we can find the people from Tianji Tower and the Night Moon Dynasty, you'll be fine. But if they succeed in threatening us, we'll really be finished, said Papa Gu. His body's energy was being controlled now, so it was best if he could convince the 2 girls. Sister Hua, what Uncle said makes sense. Those 2 are not good people. Once they succeed, they won't leave anyone alive. What do you think? The younger maid said. Little star, you might be right. This might be our fate. Let's take a gamble. If we succeed, we'll be free. If we fail, we'll die. There was no meaning in living like this. Love go little say could the older maidservant, Sister Hua, said. Then let's leave quickly. Time is life, Papa Gu said. The 2 maidservants untied the rope that tied Papa Gu and then helped him out of the courtyard. Wait a moment, I have a mount. Let's sit on it and find the nearest city to use the teleportation array. After they were some distance away, Old Man Gu released the silver-winged eagle and brought the 2 girls onto the mount. Uncle, thank you for not abandoning us. At this time, the 2 maidservants understood that Papa Gu didn't want to harm them. Papa Gu. She changed her clothes again and put on a veil. She teleported to Vast Sea City and crossed the Realm Sea to reach the island where Yishang and the others were cultivating. She was very cautious. She did not want to be discovered by Xia Lanjun, Long Xianxing, and the others. Although she could still escape using the wind element escape art, she would suffer serious injuries. She hit her cultivation level because a saint's chi was very sensitive. As long as she exposed her cultivation level, she would be sensed by other saints within a certain range. She was like an ordinary person, searching around the island. The island was very big. After searching around for 3 days, she saw the figures of the god-slaying team who were cultivating in the Realm Sea on top of a mountain. Then, she saw Night Sorrow entering the turbulent space in the Realm Sea. After thinking for a while, she changed her direction and entered the Realm Sea. Then, she headed towards the area where Night Sorrow was. Now, she just needed to show the memory crystal to Night Sorrow. By then, he would not resist. She lowered her cultivation base to the peak void inquiry stage and headed towards Night Sorrow in the turbulent space of the Realm Sea. Even though she had lowered her cultivation base, her comprehension of the realm was still there. Thus, she moved very quickly in the turbulent space and went past the area that the god-slaying team could detect. As she moved forward, she had the urge to curse because it was very strenuous for her to move forward in this area. However, she was still very far away from Night Sorrow. She could only see a shadow moving in the storm from afar. After raising her cultivation base to the venerable realm, she continued to move closer to Night Sorrow. When she was 10 li *, 500 m per li, away from Night Sorrow, she could no longer move forward. Her current cultivation base had already reached the 3rd level of the venerable realm. She did not dare to raise her cultivation base any further, as it would be easy for the saints of the Tianji Tower and the Eastern Profound region to discover her. Left with no choice, she took a deep breath and condensed her voice to call out to Night Sorrow. "If you want your father to live, hurry up and come out." Night Sorrow, who was moving back and forth in the turbulent space, heard her voice and was stunned for a moment. Then, he dashed towards Shi's location. "You are Saint Shi. How can you ignore Saint Long Xuanqing's warning and attack me?" Night Sorrow looked at Shi coldly and said, "Take a look at this first. If you want him to live, don't be so agitated. You can only come with me." She wrapped the memory crystal ball with her energy and threw it to Night Sorrow. After receiving the crystal ball, Night Sorrow moved his body to avoid the turbulent space. At the same time, he activated the memory crystal ball and watched it. After watching it, Night Sorrow was infuriated. "Shi, you are also a dignified saint. There is no need for you to use such a despicable method, right? You guys forced me to do this. I won't fight you either. Are you coming with me or not?" "It's just a matter of a sentence." She looked at Night Sorrow and said. She didn't dare to make a move now. Although she wanted to grab Night Sorrow and leave, it was very difficult to catch Night Sorrow if she didn't raise her cultivation. If she raised her cultivation to the level of a high-level saint, she would be easily discovered by Xia Lanjun and the others. This was also the reason why she wanted to catch Father Gu. Update % latest unspecified currency sunt, I can go with you. But you have to promise not to hurt my Father Gu. If you want to let him go, you have to swear to the heavenly Tao. Night Sorrow exhaled and said. Although he knew that it was dangerous to follow Shi, he couldn't ignore Father Gu's safety. In Night Sorrow's heart, Father Gu was his family. When he was young, he sat on Father Gu's shoulder every day. Night Sorrow would never forget that because of him, Father Gu lost an arm. Night Sorrow already felt very guilty, so he didn't want Father Gu to be hurt again. I admire you for this. Come with me. After Shi swore, she shouted at Night Sorrow and left horizontally. She couldn't be discovered by the members of the God-slaying squad, so she had to avoid their line of sight and go ashore in another area. After going ashore, she didn't use force and continued to walk to the other side of the island. She didn't dare to use her cultivation here. When she arrived at the area leading to Haohai City, she looked at the realm's sea and turned around. She reached out and grabbed Night Sorrow to her side. Then, she wrapped Night Sorrow with her saint's rule power and began to fly across the realm's sea. Chapter 731. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. While Shi and Night Sorrow were on their way, Papa Gu and the two maidservants arrived at a city and started the teleportation. Because they had spirit stones, the teleportation was not a problem. After Papa Gu and the two maidservants arrived at Qingtian City, they asked for directions and went directly to the Tianji Tower branch. They found the supervisor and told him their identity and purpose. Lan Yuxuan appeared and reported to Lan Yuxuan while the manager was still in shock. They are from the Medicine Valley. They were captured. Wait here, said Lan Yuxuan. These two girls are in danger at any time. Can you remove their restrictions first? Otherwise, they will lose their lives if they discover that we have escaped, said Papa Gu. He could not bear to see these two innocent girls lose their lives. I will take out the soul-splitting crystals. They may be injured, but they will not die. Be prepared, said Lan Yuxuan. After seeing the two women nod, Lan Yuxuan first used her soul power to protect the insides of the two women's heads. Then, she wrapped the soul-breaking crystal with her energy and pulled it out of the two women's heads, removing the control over them. Love go little say W, chew / top K, I will take these two soul-splitting crystals. I still have a use for them. Remember, don't leave. After that, Xia Longjun rushed to the Celestial Peak Pavilion. She had to report to the headquarters. This matter was serious because Papa Gu had described it as Yin Shi. When she arrived at the headquarters of Tianji Tower, Xia Longjun told Guo, who was overseeing the headquarters, about this matter. Give them temporary tokens and bring them here to protect them. Guo left the Celestial Terminus Tower's headquarters and headed for the teleportation array. He needed to go to the island in the Realm Sea to report this matter to Xia Longjun and the others. After all, Yin Shi's ultimate goal in capturing Papa Gu was Yishang. When Guo went to the Qingtian Domain teleportation array, Yin Shi and Night Sorrow had just left, so they had missed each other. When Guo arrived at the island in the Realm Sea, he reported the matter to Xia Longjun and the others. She captured Night Sorrow's father. Her target is Night Sorrow. Let's protect Night Sorrow first. Xia Longjun stood up and said. Xia Longjun found Wu Lingfei, who was meditating, and told her about this. When they went to the spatial storm zone in the Realm Sea to search for Night Sorrow, they couldn't find him anywhere. Something has happened. Yin Shi should have been here. That Yin Shi might be able to disguise herself, but Night Sorrow wouldn't. Go to the teleportation arrays of the major cities and ask. Xia Longjun's expression changed. She had guessed that Yin Shi would go crazy, but she didn't expect her to be so shameless. Then, the Tianji Tower group moved and found out that Night Sorrow had appeared in Haohai City's teleportation formation and Qingtian City's teleportation formation. I must kill her. Wu Lingfei's face was frosty. She was furious because Night Sorrow's life and death were unknown. Don't be anxious, Mistress Wu Quebec. If Yin Shi wanted to kill someone, she wouldn't have brought Night Sorrow with her. She must have some ulterior motive, said Xia Longjun. Chief Enforcer Guo, go to that island and look after Night Sorrow's team. Don't leak the news of Night Sorrow's accident. At the same time, go to the eastern Xian region and inform Long Xiansheng, said Xia Longjun. Guo nodded and left. Chief Enforcer, arrange for all our spies to find out where those two people are, said Xia Longjun to Lin Yuandao. After spreading the net, they anxiously waited for news. Night Sorrow was brought along by Yin Shi. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow secretly threw all his important things into the space-time pagoda. He knew that Yin Shi must have some ulterior motive for him. Therefore, he had to fight a battle of wits and courage to fight for a chance to survive. With the restriction of the Heavenly Tao Oath, Yin Shi wouldn't kill Papa Gu. Therefore, Night Sorrow had to consider his own danger. Yin Shi brought Night Sorrow to a courtyard in the outer region of the Silver Devil Mountain Villa where she had hidden Papa Gu. Looking at the rope on the ground, Night Sorrow smiled. Yin Shi, I didn't expect you to miscalculate. This mountain area is thousands of miles away from the outside. His energy has been sealed by me. Can he escape? Yin Shi snorted coldly. That's not important. Tell me what you want. You've already been exposed. Papa Gu will definitely tell Tianji Tower when he gets out. How can you hide what you've done? Night Sorrow laughed. Yin Shi took out two soul-breaking crystals and crushed them. Those two bitches really deserve to die. I'll go and capture your father now. I'll deal with you after I catch him. Yin Shi went in circles to capture Papa Gu to threaten Night Sorrow. Firstly, she wanted Night Sorrow to compromise and hand over the cultivation technique. Secondly, she didn't want to expose herself. If Papa Gu escaped, she would definitely be exposed. Therefore, she planned to continue chasing after him. You don't have to go through so much trouble. It's useless. I'm not afraid to tell you that during the beast tide in the unbounded desolation, I captured many level 4 silver-winged eagles and gave one to Papa Gu. With a level 4 silver-winged eagle as a mount, do you think he can escape? I'm afraid he's already at Tianji Tower's headquarters, Night Sorrow said with a smile. What are you laughing at? She waved her hand and slapped Night Sorrow. You can kill me now. You've already been exposed. As long as I'm dead, you'll be hunted down. I believe that Long Xianxing is a man of his words. If he says it, he will definitely do it, Night Sorrow said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Shi's expression changed. She also understood that this was the truth. If Night Sorrow died, Long Xianxing and the others would definitely not let it go. Night Sorrow, as long as you hand over the cultivation technique, I won't kill you and let you go immediately. From then on, we won't interfere with each other's business, she said. So that's what you're thinking. Then I'm sorry to tell you that you're thinking too much. Kill me if you can. Night Sorrow sneered. At this time, he understood Shi's intention. She was trying to get his cultivation technique. Don't force me. If I kill you, I can also get the ancient book from your storage ring, she said coldly. Is that so? Then I'll tell you something. If you kill me, you can take back the time-space pagoda. However, as my partner, she will help me do one thing, and that is to destroy everything I left in the time-space pagoda, Night Sorrow said as he held the time-space pagoda in his hand. She squinted her eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. She was very clear that what Night Sorrow said was the truth. Since the time-space pagoda had recognized Night Sorrow as its master, even if Night Sorrow died, it would still complete the final arrangement of Night Sorrow. You're in a dilemma now. Do you want to kill me with the price of hiding like a dog in the future, or do you want me to leave and end this matter here, right? Night Sorrow looked at Shi and said. He understood Shi's current state of mind. Looking at Night Sorrow, Shi was very annoyed. She used her energy to imprison Night Sorrow. Her left hand grabbed the time-space pagoda, and her right hand directly slapped Night Sorrow. So what if you take it? She's mine. Can you use it? Can you take out the things inside? Night Sorrow stood up and said as he patted the soil off his body. Chapter 732. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. She was also in a dilemma. If she were to let Night Sorrow go, not only would she gain nothing, but she would also get into trouble and tarnish her reputation. What's the matter? If she didn't let Night Sorrow go, she would become the public enemy. Eastern Profound Region, North Sea Region, and Tianji Tower wouldn't let her go. She could ignore some people, but she couldn't ignore Long Xianxing's words. If Long Xianxing was bent on killing her, then she could only live a life of seclusion, not daring to appear in front of others. Yi Shang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth after Shi slapped him. He sat cross-legged and meditated without saying a word. He knew that he couldn't anger Shi at this time. Shi was also in a dilemma. Let's go. Shi stood up and grabbed Night Sorrow to her side. Then, she flew away. She didn't dare to stay here because she was worried that Xia Longjun and the others would follow the clues and find this place. Night Sorrow didn't resist. But before Shi grabbed him, he poured the energy in his right foot and stomped on the ground. Love go little say W. Chu, you seem to be very relaxed. While flying, she turned her head to look at Night Sorrow. She was puzzled why Night Sorrow wasn't afraid. He wasn't even nervous. Why not? I have lived for 20 years, and I have already completed what I have been pursuing. To be honest, I don't have any obsessions. If there's something I can't let go of, it's the women around me. But I believe that even if something happens to me, they will take care of themselves, Night Sorrow said. You have only lived for 20 years, and you have already completed your pursuit? She squinted her eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. She didn't understand. In the years before I started cultivating, I just hoped that Father Gu and the people of Bamboo Garden Village could live a good life. You might not know this, but Bamboo Garden City in the Medicine Valley region used to be a small village with only a few dozen families, Yishang said with a smile. When I entered Medicine Valley and started my cultivation, the Medicine Valley was facing a crisis. It was facing the annexation and attack of the Golden Flame sect. But now, the Golden Flame sect has been destroyed. Of course, this has something to do with Tianji Tower and Dongxian City Lord's office. But in fact, the Medicine Valley is one of the top forces in Eastern Profound region. Yishan brought up the issue of the Medicine Valley. Then I found out about my background. At that time, I wanted to make the Night Moon Dynasty rise again. Now, you know the situation of the Night Moon Dynasty. In addition, I sent several batches of top-grade resources to the people of the Night Moon Dynasty who retreated. Do you think the Night Moon Dynasty will rise again? So, no matter what you do, I have nothing to worry about. I am just a small cultivator who has just entered the Venerable Realm. It is worth it for me to risk the future of a veteran saint like you, Yin Shi. Night Sorrow still had a smile on his face. Bastard. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yin Shi slapped Night Sorrow again because she couldn't control her anger. Night Sorrow had nothing to worry about, so it was difficult to threaten him. Half an hour later, Yin Shi took Night Sorrow into a cave residence. The interior of the cave residence was tidied up like a small room. The furnishings were also full of ancient charm. The light pink bed made the cave residence similar to a woman's boudoir. After entering the cave residence, Yin Shi threw Night Sorrow to the ground and then set up a restriction formation at the entrance of the cave. Search. I will let them search. Not to mention that it is like looking for a needle in a haystack, they can't even find it here. Looking from the outside, this is a mountain wall. The sound and energy here can't be transmitted out. After setting up the restriction formation, Yin Shi's face was full of anger. You are ruthless. Do whatever you want, Night Sorrow said. Yin Shi looked at Night Sorrow and didn't know what to do. She was thinking about how to get Night Sorrow's body refining technique and then let Night Sorrow leave. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Yin Shi didn't want to cut off her escape route. You won't lose anything if you give me the body refining technique. As long as I get the technique, I will let you go. I will do what I say, Yin Shi said. Hee, if I give you the body refining technique, it means that I am afraid and give in. In the future, I will not be able to face my own heart. As a person, as a cultivator, I am fearless. You can't make me afraid. Night Sorrow said and closed his eyes. It was impossible for him to hand over the myriad Dao Tome. At the same time, Night Sorrow operated the energy of the myriad Dao Tome to refine the energy that Yin Shi left in his body to imprison his genuine Qi. Damn it. Yin Shi knew very well that Night Sorrow was telling the truth. After cursing, Yin Shi stepped forward and punched and kicked Night Sorrow. She directly kicked Night Sorrow and beat him for a while. After being beaten for a while, Night Sorrow didn't fight back. He still had the ability to fight. He had the spatial crack and the myriad Dao Tome. He also had the power of the soul to attack. However, Night Sorrow didn't move. It was meaningless to fight back. It would only alert Yin Shi and continue to control his fighting strength. Don't you want to say anything? Yin Shi, who was panting, asked. She didn't use any energy. She was just punching and kicking to vent her anger, so she was quite tired. There is nothing to say. If you want to vent your anger, then continue, Night Sorrow said as he exhaled. Wait for me to rest first. I will slowly play with you. When I have time to torture you, you will be satisfied. Yin Shi pulled over the praying mat at the corner of the bed and sat down. Yin Shi needed to organize her thoughts. Night Sorrow wasn't moved by force or persuasion. If this continued, she wouldn't be able to get what she wanted. Even if she continued to waste her energy, she wouldn't be able to get anything. Yin Shi meditated and thought. Night Sorrow used the energy of the myriad Dao Tome to refine the energy that Yin Shi controlled in his Dantian. As for Enshi's punches and kicks, Night Sorrow wasn't affected at all. A rank 5 cultivator with a spiritual weapon couldn't even break through the defense of his body. If Enshi didn't use her energy to attack, it was no different from scratching an itch. However, Night Sorrow didn't show anything. After all, he still wanted to make Enshi numb. Enshi didn't say anything. She was thinking about how to make Night Sorrow compromise. Enshi didn't move. Night Sorrow continued to refine the energy that Enshi left in his body. Although his myriad Tao Tome's energy contained the power of desolates, Enshi's energy was very pure. Therefore, it wasn't easy to refine it. The two of them were in a deadlock. Night Sorrow was thinking about how he could escape. As for the pagoda of time and space, it was in Enshi's hands. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid. As long as he escaped, Enshi would immediately lose the pagoda of time and space. This was because Night Sorrow had a connection with the pagoda of time and space. With this connection leading the way for Long Xianxing, she wouldn't be able to escape. Chapter 733. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow and Enshi were in a stalemate, but Wu Lingfei and the others were extremely anxious. Love go little say Netku at the same time. Lan Yuxuan told everyone that the two soul-breaking crystals in her hands had shattered, which meant that the other party knew that Father Gu and the two maids had escaped. Wu Lingfei looked at Tianyu beside her and knew that Night Sorrow was still fine. Night Sorrow and Tianyu were connected through their souls. If something happened to Night Sorrow, Tianyu would also change. You don't have to worry too much. If those people didn't escape, then no one would know that she did it, so she might be unscrupulous. Now, unless she reaches the stage where she doesn't care about anything, she will have scruples and think about what she will face in the future, Long Xianxing said. The main thing is that she has no bottom line. Wu Lingfei was full of worry. She should be after something. If I'm not wrong, it should be Night Sorrow's body refining method. The Silver Devil family's innate skill is the wind elemental escape, but because it consumes her own blood, she can't use it continuously. So, strengthening her body is her urgent pursuit. Night Sorrow's body is extremely tyrannical and is currently the top in the 9-domain world, so she has her eyes on it, Xia Lanjun said. The key is that Night Sorrow has a strong character and won't compromise. This is what I'm most worried about, Wu Lingfei said. No matter what, she won't kill him easily, Long Xianxing said. At present, they couldn't find Enshi's whereabouts, so there was nothing they could do. Hashtag First Edition, Master K, give the order to catch Chen Chen. Night Sorrow's father said that Enshi asked Chen Chen to scout for information. Chen Chen must still be wandering outside, Xia Lanjun said to Lin Yuandao. Night Sorrow was meditating on his own and didn't care about Enshi's thoughts at all. Have you thought about it? After meditating for 2 hours, Enshi still couldn't think of a way. Because if Night Sorrow didn't take out the cultivation technique, she had no other way. There is nothing to think about. If you can't think of anything, I will leave. There is no point in wasting time like this. I will not give you the cultivation technique. You don't have the guts to kill me. Night Sorrow brought out a jar of wine and took a sip. You're pretty sure, aren't you? Even if I can't kill you, I can still take care of you. Enshi got up and started punching and kicking Night Sorrow, knocking him down once again. Night Sorrow did not get up after being kicked. He still had a smile on his face. Continue. Can you be any more shameless? Enshi squatted down and grabbed the collar of Yishang's robe. If I'm shameless, then who's the shameless one between the two of us? Night Sorrow was furious. He lifted his leg and kicked between Enshi's legs. Night Sorrow's kick wasn't weak either. It directly kicked Enshi, who was unprepared. Enshi covered the area between her legs with both hands. She bit her lips and stared at Night Sorrow. Her eyes were about to burst into flames. Night Sorrow's kick had shattered her dignity. After taking a deep breath, she stood up and waved her arms to remove the footprint between her legs. She then went in front of Night Sorrow again and started punching and kicking him again. Night Sorrow's body shrank. He hugged his knees with both hands and ignored She's violent beating. Night Sorrow's strong point was his resistance. If he wasn't compared to a saint, even a paragon should not be stronger than him. You dare to kick me everywhere? I'll let you kick me. She used her saint's rule power to suppress Night Sorrow. She then stepped on Night Sorrow's legs and pushed Night Sorrow's upper body backward. Night Sorrow resisted for a while and gave up. He didn't want to use the myriad Tao Tome's energy. That was equivalent to exposing his trump card. Besides, even if he used the myriad Tao Tome, he wouldn't be able to withstand She's attacks. Hence, he could only endure. After straightening Night Sorrow's body, she used her energy to fix Night Sorrow's body. She then kicked Night Sorrow's crotch twice. Night Sorrow's face turned purple with anger. This was because he had cultivated the outer part of the myriad Tao Tome. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. You're fine. Alright, I'll see if you're fine. She gritted her teeth and untied Night Sorrow's pants. She pulled out Night Sorrow's big bird and took out her long sword with her right hand. Night Sorrow was dumbfounded. She was too ruthless. She could even do such a thing. At this time, she also released Night Sorrow's head. I'll ask you, are you going to give me the tome or not? If you don't, I'll raise my sword and you won't be able to be a man in the future. You can try. If you dare to cut it, I won't live. If I die, something will happen to my mount. You know what I mean. Night Sorrow said. At the same time, he was prepared. If she really wanted to make a move, he would use Soul Extinguishing Slash and Space Rend to resist. He wouldn't let she hurt his family jewels. She held Night Sorrow's baby in her left hand and the long sword in her right hand. She looked at Night Sorrow's face and thought. She thought about whether she should really stab him and whether Night Sorrow would commit suicide. If Night Sorrow didn't want to live, she wouldn't be able to control it. At that time, things would get out of hand and there would be no turning back. Looking at Night Sorrow's calm face, she was really angry. She was so angry that her body was trembling. Because Night Sorrow's face was still full of indifference. As she trembled with anger, another problem arose. She held Night Sorrow's baby in her left hand and shook it up and down. Night Sorrow's originally wilted bird suddenly became energetic and stood upright. Dirty. She turned the long sword in her right hand. Before Yishang could react, she used the back of the sword to fiercely hit Yishang's bird that was about to fly away. After that, she hit it twice from left to right. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, he also screamed at this time. Although his body was tyrannical, it didn't mean that he didn't feel pain. These two fierce hits were dozens of times more painful than She's punches and kicks. Yo! You know it's painful. I thought you wouldn't scream. Hearing Night Sorrow's scream, She smiled. Previously, when she punched and kicked Night Sorrow, he didn't have any reaction. Now that Night Sorrow knew how to scream, that was where the pain was, and she had a place to attack. You bitch, kill me if you have the ability. Otherwise, I will let you have a taste of this. Night Sorrow, who had recovered, cursed. In the past, Night Sorrow had never cursed, but now he was really angry. This she was not like a saint at all. She had no bottom line at all. Let me have a taste of this. You think too much. Since you are afraid of pain here, let's start from here. Don't worry, I won't cut it off for you. You don't have to commit suicide. She looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow's face changed. He knew that this woman who had no bottom line was capable of doing anything. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and continued to work hard to refine the energy in his dantian. He had to seize the time. If there was a chance, he would run away. The situation was not optimistic. This means she was simply crazy. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.